The whole thing? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's going right now.
All right. Well, we starting all over, I guess.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how to do this.
We're new to the whole movie podcast.
Yeah.
Thing, I mean, we're usually, we do Road to the Rose Bowl and all
the greatest podcast that ever
It is
exists.
the greatest football analytical show that's ever hit the modern day YouTube.
Okay.
It has such brilliance by Jacob.
That is correct. Actually.
It's barely a football show, and it is not an analytical show.
True, it's more of an A/B show.
I think it's more of a soap opera.
It's more of just three idiots just spewing out
I feel like
crap more than
which is what this is.
I kind of feel like I'm
That's
just
like
a heroin addict that snuck into the room, and you all are sitting there talking about football.
Yeah,
and somebody threw a mic between all three of us.
And Jake,
I just snuck in.
Jake always gives the edgy jokes.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I can do one right now. But not this early.
We're not talking about that now. We're talking about movies.
We're talking about movies, I guess.
Yeah. We like movies.
Lord, here we go.
Yeah. What do you want to start with, Jacob?
What are y'all's favorite movies of all time? Like, I'm talking about ever made.
Made.
Golden Age of Hollywood and before. I don't give a shit if it's from the 1800s. Mm-hmm. Romeo and Juliet, you saw back in the good 1670s. I don't care. Just
Titanic because it had boobies. That's one.
Oh, that's a good one.
But
damn, I've already started.
I guess I'll start.
Yeah. Go ahead.
My favorite movie of all time is 2001: Space Odyssey from Stanley Kubrick.
Why? I mean, I get it. It's supposed to be really good. That's why I've never watched it, honestly.
It's one of the movies that I want to. I'll give you like a synopsis, I guess, because I do want to actually talk about it. I'm actually going to pick it for like one of our movies.
Oh, okay.
One episode, but I guess the main reason I love it, one, cinematography, the themes, the ideas, and pretty much how revolutionary it was when it came to film editing.
Okay.
Because it basically just changed filmmaking in my mind.
Now I do. There's one part. It's a meme. One of my favorite YouTubers actually used it. It was the open the doors, Hal. Mm-hmm. You know I can't do that, Jason. Whatever his name is.
Yep.
And I know that's from 2001: Space Odyssey, and it looks really nice. But I think that from what I've heard, it's the only talking in the entire damn movie.
It's not really. Yeah, it's not for everybody. If you,
it's very slow.
Yeah. I would say if you don't like Kubrick's earlier movies, then you probably not like this. Like if you
like Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, if you don't like Clockwork Orange, you're probably gonna hate. I mean, they're not similar as in what they're about, obviously, but as in like pacing, they're pretty similar in editing.
When me and Brian, whenever we went to like Food City video store as kids, I always saw 2001: Space Odyssey sitting on the shelf.
Do you ever miss video stores?
Oh, yes.
A big time.
Yes. That is a conversation for another podcast episode, absolutely.
Yeah, because
like we have one down the street from us called Star Video. Did you ever go there? Oh my goodness. You walked in, there's this nice little old lady that helped you out with everything. It smelled like, I've never smelled anything like it in my entire years. It smelled like a video store. Like, and I'm not talking about like a Blockbuster.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like a down-home country boy video store.
Well, actually, near my place, like there was always this video store, Carol Sue. Just a great lady. Yeah, I wish that was something that was more prevalent nowadays, but I understand why it's not. Streaming is destroyed.
I hate streaming so much for that reason.
I do and I don't, because streaming makes it so easy.
It's very convenient.
Well,
God, yeah, it is.
Here's my problem with streaming. It's made, to me, it has made watching movies monotonous. I can't.
Not for me, but
it used to be I would be able to sit down and watch 5-6 movies back to back because I only did that like once every few months. Now it's like I have this at my disposal anytime. I just can't do it anymore.
It's not much of a.
I can barely sit through one movie unless I go to the movie theater, or unless like I'm watching it with you guys here and we're just sitting making fun of it. Well, I'm not going to say it actually.
Okay.
But back to 2001: Space Odyssey. I actually haven't seen the whole movie.
You haven't?
From beginning to end. I've seen parts of it. I've seen like a bunch of different famous segments of it. But every single scene I've seen of it it looks just amazing.
It really does, though, don't it?
Because it looks like it looks like one of those type of movies that could still be made today. It looks like it could be made today.
2001: Space Odyssey. You know, like you know how they have like 4K TVs nowadays.
Yeah.
They're bringing out a 5K TV, and you know what movie they're going to first show on it? 2001: Space Odyssey.
Knew it.
It's that it feels that revolutionary that it was made back then, and it's still probably one of the most visually striking movies ever.
Yeah.
So,
have you seen your favorite movie, or are we not done talking about this yet? Do you all still have stuff to say? I'm sorry,
I didn't
mean to interrupt you.
Favorite movies to me have always interchanged. Like, it just depends on like what mood I'm in. You know, every couple of years they change. Mm-hmm. But right now, I'd have to say my favorite movie of all time is 12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Men is a great film.
A modern classic.
I know Jake has a little bit of a varying opinion on it.
He's juror number 10. That's why.
At the end of this, he'll be like, I love it.
That's juror number 3.
Oh, yeah.
Juror number 10 was like, they're all the same.
And me and you just stand up and walk into the corner.
And just turn around.
You're full. That's what you are.
Which is the best scene in the movie, by the way.
Yeah, I love that scene.
You know,
but
I hate how accurate that is.
But onto it, 12 Angry Men, the synopsis pretty much is it's 12 jurors arguing over whether or not an 18-year-old kid should be
hung,
defined guilty,
sent to death, right?
Put in a chair.
And sent to the chair.
Yep.
And 11 men say guilty. Juror number 8 famously says, I don't believe he's guilty. Well, not that I don't believe he's guilty. He's saying not guilty.
Can't prove without a reasonable doubt.
But yeah, he and plus he's not so willing to throw an 18-year-old child to death.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of themes to it, you know, of it not just being of just...
I'll give it one thing. It did challenge my own views, and I respect any movie that actually does that well. And it did do that well. Like, that's just my own perspective of it. It did challenge the way I view the world, and I like that.
For me, I feel like it was a lot of a critique on the justice system as a whole.
Yeah.
That, like, something that's just 12 men agreeing on one thing can end a whole kid's life.
Yeah.
Really think about that. And you can tell some of the men, they just want to get out of there.
Oh, yeah.
That is scary.
One of them was like more interested in watching a baseball game, I think.
Hell, I thought, at one part they were playing, what was it, X's and O's on a piece of paper?
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's called tic-tac-toe, you absolute troglodyte.
Okay, whatever. But they were just more interested in
anything else.
Anything else. Some of them had other motives. But...
yeah, we'll get to that. But, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the other things, too, is that... And also just a case of like, look, we have to be 100% certain that this kid did it. We can't just make an opinion about him and just stick to it without like any concrete evidence to go with it. And slowly but surely, like they just kind of start unraveling the case and everything. And yeah, I love the movie. And the fact that like it's the type of movie to where it's just 12 men arguing in one room, but they managed to make it engaging.
Yep.
That's just...
Well, you know what? Me and you've actually talked about this. But filmmaking isn't about your money or your budget or about how big of a set or how many great actors you can get in it.
Right.
It's about an idea and a vision, right? And that movie is literally, they just film it in a room. That's it. Have a pretty good script with it, you know.
Yeah.
Some great filmmaking,
and
just...
The dialogue is
make a movie,
and the dialogue is really good too.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Because it's pretty much it's.
What surprised me was the filmmaking. Actually.
Oh yeah,
I love the filmmaking. I thought it was incredible. I was thinking, well, you know, this is a movie from the past, and the filmmaking at that point, you know, your Kubricks hadn't, you know, kind of reinvented filmmaking. So I don't know how well directed this movie would be. I was shocked. I thought it was really well directed.
Well, yeah, because. Juror number 10's rant and everybody just getting up and turning their backs to him. That's one take.
Yeah, and it's not one of them cheesy moments where someone stands up and gives like a 12-minute speech about
puts his hands on his chest and just being like, "I'll say to you, sir."
They just turn their backs and they're just like, "I don't want to listen to this. Yeah, this is just nonsense.
We're no longer."
Yeah, we're just closing you out.
And that guy doesn't have a come to Jesus moment. He's just ashamed to talk.
Yeah, I don't think he speaks another word in the whole movie.
I don't think he does. He doesn't have like a come to Jesus moment. He's just ashamed.
Yep. It is a very real movie. Because you don't get that in real life either. Your dickholes that you run into every day, they don't always get taught their lesson. They just sort of shut up and go about their business.
Yeah. What is you done talking about 12 Angry Men?
Yeah.
What's your favorite movie of all time, Jake?
I'm a bit of a basic geek when it comes to this one. Yeah. I like J.R.R. Tolkien's The Greatest Man to Ever Exist. No, my favorite movie is Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings.
Rings of the Lord.
Same thing.
Two Towers.
Two Towers is an awesome movie.
Which one's your favorite out of them three, if you had to pick?
Unpopular opinion here, the first one. Fellowship of the Ring.
Ugh.
That is my favorite.
Here's the thing. I actually haven't seen Return of the King yet.
Really?
I
What? I watched it in theaters as a kid.
It's amazing.
I haven't watched
all
Return of
three
the
of
King.
them in theaters as a kid.
I've watched Fellowship of the Ring. A movie I kind of agree with Tyler here.
I don't think it's that good.
It's good.
I love it.
Fine.
It's just... It's kind of boring, I'm sorry. It's kind of boring. A lot of
That's because you haven't watched the 4.5-hour version of it.
There is
That
not.
sounds worse!
I swear to God, there is.
Because I remember one critique I remember hearing in high school at times when everybody was talking about Lord of the Rings was it's 4 hours of people walking up a hill.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Fellowship of the Ring is, with a few exceptions. There's a few exciting
That's
moments.
what it is.
Now, Two Towers is awesome.
Two Towers is amazing.
That's my favorite one. That was epic.
It is amazing. It's got the most famous fights or battle
Yes.
in all of cinema. Everyone knows.
amazing.
Everyone knows the Two Towers battle scene of.
Yep.
Shit. What's the name of it? The Battle of.
I don't know.
They fight for that wall or whatever.
No, it's
like
it's a big wall.
Yeah.
That, but I'm trying to think of the name of it. Anyway, what you had to say about the first movie? Yeah, they're right. It is a 4-hour walk up a hill, but it's a very fun walk. That's
It's
what
a thought-provoking walk.
No, it's not thought provoking.
It's just
the movie.
It's not about how they get there. It's about the journey.
That is exactly what Lord of the Rings is.
I know.
It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. But that 4.5-hour walk uphill, I hadn't watched Lord of the Rings like ever until, let me think, I was 16. I was 16 years old until I ever watched Lord of the Rings.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I watched it whenever I was a little youngling. I saw it in theaters.
I was actually older than him.
I saw all three of them in theaters.
I was actually later than him watching those movies.
I think I was the one that ended up getting him to go watch it.
Yep.
Really?
And my buddy, I was working in Food City at the time. My buddy was like, "Hey, watch Lord of the Rings."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "How long is it?" 3.5 hours. I ain't got no time for that. So I ended up buying it, watching it at work, and it was the greatest work day I've ever had in my life. It's a 4.5 walk uphill, yeah, but it is probably the funnest I've ever seen.
I will say this about Fellowship of the Ring. I love the ending.
The ending, yeah.
The ending of Fellowship of the Ring.
I actually don't remember the ending.
Whenever they're... Let me explain it.
Go ahead.
It's my
It's
movie,
your movie.
bastard.
It's your movie. Sorry.
You go right ahead.
So they get in a fight with all these orcs, right? Mm-hmm. In the woods.
Yeah, I remember the woods.
Yeah,
I remember
Sean
that.
Bean dies.
Yep.
Of course.
Of course.
And
as he does.
well, Sam
that
and
joke is 6 years old.
Yeah.
Sam and Frodo, they're booking it. And they get to this river, and Frodo, he gets pushed off into the water in a boat. Mm-hmm. Well, Sam's wanting to go with him, but Frodo's like, "No, I got to go alone." Sam dives into the water. Frodo yells, "Hey, you can't swim. What are you doing?" And the guy starts drowning, so Frodo has to jump in after him and pull him into the boat. And he goes, "I'm not letting you go without me." And then the movie ends. Okay. I told you the movie is not thought provoking. Anybody that's for some
no.
The movie is not thought provoking. It's not revolutionary. It is just amazing.
It's a good movie.
I think it's a masterpiece.
And I personally don't love the first one that much. Two Towers to me is insanity.
Yes.
I love it.
It's epic.
And the third one is just pretty much an extension of that chaos.
Yeah.
With a bit more politics in there.
Yeah, and a horrible ending to me. At least for me.
Well, yeah. Well, that's
wasn't the Return of the King the one that had like the 12 different endings?
Yeah, it had to tie up 12 different endings at once.
Yeah, and it kept on like you felt like the end credits were going to come, but then
Yeah.
I remember as a kid I was actually getting very impatient watching that ending because I didn't know when it was going to end or what was going on.
See,
it just kept on cutting over to like 12 different stories. I was like, Movie end.
See, I was more like, I wonder how this one's going to end. I bet it's just going to cut to credits, and then it cut to that ending. I'm like, yes! But that's the reason I think it's such a masterpiece, though, because it's not revolutionary. It's not got a message to say. It has nothing really. Mm-hmm. But it's still that fun to watch, and I keep thinking about it to this day.
It's really well made.
Yeah, I mean, it is well made.
And if you want your little slice of validation, I think Return of the King won Best Picture when it came out.
I would imagine.
I think
it had to have at least one award.
Yeah, I think it won Best Picture.
Yeah, it's a good movie, though. It's an awesome movie.
Yeah.
Brian, do you have something to say about it? I think I interrupted you.
Well, pretty much I was going to add on to the ending of Fellowship to where, like, with that scene that you're talking about with Sam jumping into the water despite not being able to swim in front of Brandon, Sam became my favorite character.
Oh, yeah, Sam's awesome.
And
Sam is the real main character.
And he continued to be my favorite character in Two Towers.
Even Tolkien, whenever he wrote the books, he said, Frodo's not the main character of the book, Sam is.
Because Sam is almost the audience.
Yeah.
Like, Frodo's the one doing the impossible task. Sam is the one kind of along for the ride with him.
Yeah.
Like the audience is. So, I think, I would agree Sam's probably the best character. My favorite character was always Aragorn. I don't know why. Aragorn, whatever his name was.
It's Aragorn!
Yeah. But I remember
he's the coolest.
Yeah, that's why I love it.
Remember,
I watched him when I was a kid.
I'm sorry I said that wrong. It's Aragorn!
But I remember that was my favorite as a kid just because he was a badass.
My favorite character was always Fly, you fools. What's his name?
Gandalf.
Oh, yeah, Gandalf was awesome.
Gandalf's fucking badass.
I love his rage moments. Like, his rage moments always make me laugh.
Yeah.
But
it's the same actor who plays Magneto.
Yeah.
Yes, I did know that.
Yeah. Dude's badass.
The dude's awesome.
Like, even the actor's amazing.
Ian
McKellen.
Yeah.
Dude's awesome.
Great actor. So, is that all you want to speak on that?
Yeah, I don't really have much more to say. Go watch Lord of the Rings if you haven't. If you have, go watch it anyway.
Yeah. Now, you know what? I thought of this. It is the end of the decade.
Yeah.
We've had some good. We've had some terrible movies.
We've had some heartbreak.
We've had some. we've had some shit. We've had some dynamite. So, Brian, I want to ask you.
Fine, nice kid first.
You know what, Jake? Actually, I will ask Jake.
No,
because I always went with Brian on the football podcast first. So, Jake, what would be your top 10 movies of the decade?
Oh,
yeah.
You want me to just dump them all on you at once?
Sure. Give me number 10. Give me a little bit of your reason why.
Number 10, Tombstone.
Okay.
Have you ever watched it?
Tombstone? Really?
Yeah, Tombstone. Tombstone. It is for anybody that doesn't know. It is an animated. It's an parody of Western movies.
It's an independent
film.
Animated
it's an indie film
by our favorite YouTubers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a full length film though.
It's a film.
It's full length.
It counts.
Yeah.
It's art.
It's funny. I love it.
Okay.
Number 9 would have to be. You know what? I'm switching it. Number 9 is Tombstone.
Okay, what's number 10?
Number 10 is Warcraft.
Warcraft?
Yep, the World of Warcraft movie.
Really?
I don't hate it.
I thought it was good.
It's one of the better video game movies.
I really liked it.
Actually, there is a video game movie on my list.
Your top 10 worst.
Yeah, my top 10 worst. There is.
I actually kind of like that movie, but I understand it. I understand it.
Save for later.
Warcraft, it surprised me a lot because I went in expecting terrible, and I got the lore of the game put into an actual movie, and not done terribly.
It's directed by a great director.
Yeah.
If you ever watched the movie Moon, I actually picked it up at that. Whenever me and you went to that UK game.
Yeah. Yeah, at that video store.
At the video store, I actually picked up the movie Moon. It's a phenomenal movie. He directed it. He's a great director. The movie's problems, I don't think, come from directing with witchcraft. I think it just comes from... That's a really hard thing to adapt.
Yeah.
It has one...
apparently it pleased the fans of the game.
Yeah.
And that's all I had to do.
I've never played the games.
If that's all I had to do, then it achieved its goal.
And apparently the director was a huge fan of the games, and he didn't treat it like it was a money project. He treated it like it was passion.
I had heard that they're wanting to do a sequel, but if they did, I really hope they get that same director back.
Yeah.
Because you could tell that he
He loves it.
Like, the armor was the same as in the game. The lore was the exact same. He didn't change the characters or anything.
Have you ever really watched us? Have you ever heard of Source Code?
I've heard of it.
He directed that too.
Okay.
With Jake Gyllenhaal. He's a great filmmaker. But
I do want to watch Moon. You have
like
enticed me to watch Moon.
I will say Moon. The one thing about Moon is it's kind of a lot like it's a lesser version of 2001: Space Odyssey with like his own twist on it.
Okay.
So he takes like ideas from that, but you can also tell that it's cheaply made. Like Beyond the Black Rainbow, which we'll discuss I think later.
Yeah.
But you know how like some parts, like that part where Beyond the Black Rainbow, when the character's driving the car and you can tell in the background, it's just
I can forgive stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
all right.
Number 8 for me is going to be Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
I love this movie.
I think it's one of the funniest movies. It's one of the best horror comedies I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
I'm not crazy about this movie. I'm sorry.
I thought it was. I actually think it's the second best horror comedy I've ever watched.
I think it's one of the better satires on dumb teenage comedy. Mm-hmm. I mean, dumb teenage horror movies.
Yeah.
Because these dumb teenage horror movies, a lot of them follow that same formula of teenagers go out to the woods.
They have sex, they die.
Yeah. Except the villain of Tucker and Dale is themselves.
They kill themselves. It's amazing.
On accident every time.
These poor guys just want to go out. They're best friends. They want to go out, have a good fishing trip, have a vacation away from work.
Yeah.
And these damn college students keep killing themselves all over their property.
I love the part. My favorite part of the whole movie is when the cop shows up.
Yeah, that is a funny part.
That part is here, and they're like, these college kids, they just keep killing themselves on our property.
While they're carrying a dead body.
And the wood chipper boy.
Yeah, he keeps holding the arm up. He goes, "Why'd you do that for?"
Or they're like, "Oh my God, them sick bastards! They're making her dig her own grave." They're just trying to build an outhouse.
She offered to help.
I think the only problem I have with the movie itself is the fact that the joke is kind of one note.
It is.
The teenagers are dumb. I get it.
But it's executed so well in so many different ways.
Like
ways that you're not going to guess. Like him typing the wood chipper.
I love how creative the kills get, because there was that one part where Tucker's the skinny one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he has like a beehive, like he's stung by bees and he's running.
Yeah.
And I think he's running with a chainsaw. And this teenager's like, "Oh my God, I'm being chased." Really just trying to get rid of the bees.
Yeah.
And he's not looking where he's running. He runs right into a tree, like branch, and stabs himself. I didn't see that coming.
He's just running around in circles. He ends up passing the guy up, and the guy starts to slow down and realize what's going on, and then he impales himself onto a tree.
That, and like, I love the part where the really hot one, the blonde girl, she like gets blood all over her or whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, it's a really goofy movie. I also love that the logic at the end of the movie is the preppy boy wants to kill the rednecks because I think that he was part of like his mother.
His mother got raped
by a redneck.
Yeah.
So
a redneck serial killer.
Yeah, and he thinks that his family genetics is part redneck, which is not part.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
His logic is dumb.
He's just like, I'm not part redneck. I'm not part redneck.
I am a preppy boy.
I am preppy. That's just sort of spitting in the face of every single like those teen scary movies where it's like, oh, you have the preps and then you have the nerds and stuff like that.
Like, oh no, he's part of both.
Yeah. Oh God.
For me, I love it. I think it's a great satire. It. I know you don't love it as much, but I don't know. I adore it.
Well, y'all ready for my number 7?
Go ahead.
Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Really?
Wow.
Okay, this is intriguing.
I put in Beyond the Black Rainbow because, a few reasons, honestly. First of all, the filmmaking is just astronomically amazing just to look at. Like, you don't need the sound on it; just really helps.
Has a great score though too.
Amazing score. I didn't know what the hell was happening the entire movie. Still don't know. I really don't. I just know there's a mental patient.
Yeah.
And she escapes. It got me into artsy fartsy bullshit movies.
Yeah.
That's another big reason because that sort of made me think, wow, this was amazing. Are they all like this?
Yeah.
And just, there was some scenes, man, that make you so uncomfortable.
1966.
And there's no movie that is bad can do that to you. Like, only the best movies can make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. That 1966 scene, I think, Brian, I'll let you speak on it because you had a pretty cool reference, like what it made you feel like there. I remember you said it made you feel like you were one of your favorite musicians.
Yeah, that whole thing is a Tool music video.
It feels like it.
It is a Tool music video, because Tool is my favorite band, and yeah, that whole sequence, and it reminds me of a song. Like Tool literally has a song that has like the lyrics have kind of a sequence, like of that whole scene. Black and white is all I see in my infancy. Red and yellow came to be, reaching out to me.
That's why, honestly, whenever I heard that song, you're telling me, I was thinking, I bet he listened to that song before he.
Can't prove that, but I would not be shocked.
It feels like
I would not be shocked if that guy was inspired by Tool music videos or some Tool lyrics. Would not be shocked. It can't prove that he was, but would not be surprised.
Yeah,
movie. If y'all, I mean, let's get over it. Nobody that watches this is going to have ever watched Black Rainbow.
No, I actually think on IMDb, almost no one's watched it.
Yeah.
Now people might have seen that director's second movie.
What?
Mandy with Nicolas Cage.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Mandy
I have
yet.
to watch Mandy now.
I loved it. It's not as artsy-fartsy, but
I don't care.
It still has that insanity.
Yeah.
style.
I've heard it's like The Crow.
Yeah. I feel like...
I've heard people...
in a weird way, that's a good comparison.
I've heard people compare it favorably.
It's like an art house Crow movie.
Beyond the Black Rainbow almost feels like it's sort of an inner look into Buckethead's mind a little bit. It kind of reminds me of him a little bit. I don't know what that 1966 scene anyway, where it cuts to like those landscapes that are like absolutely apocalyptic and stuff, and like the biting down and just the messy stuff. Tool and Buckethead is exactly what that scene reminded me of.
I actually was reminded of Eraserhead.
Yeah.
Eraserhead.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's that movie, because Eraserhead not in I guess style, the color power, or whatever. I mean, kind of, but I guess just the weirdness of it. Eraserhead, the whole movie is like that. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of reminded of Eraserhead there. But yeah, what's your next one?
Continue.
John Wick, all three of them.
Okay.
I think that they have revolutionized action movies in the way that they need to be made.
I think they've revolutionized Western action movies, in the United States.
Yeah,
there's still a lot. Like, have you ever seen Oh Boy?
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God!
I haven't seen that movie, but I've seen the scene.
Oh my God!
I've seen.
It goes on for an eternity.
Yeah, I think I know where Daredevil episode 2 got that from.
Yep,
I think.
Yeah,
again,
they actually said that's where they got it from.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
not much to say about John Wick at all. It's just fun. It's just fun.
Yeah, I like the John Wick movies.
They're good.
I'll have plenty more to say about John Wick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you say it then because there's not much more I can say.
But when I get to my list,
it's a fun action movie. Mm-hmm. I like watching John Wick go hit man and punching people.
All the action is incredible. It's all well done. I agree.
Yeah. Number 5, Rocko's Modern Life, Static King. Have
I've never seen it.
I haven't. So, y'all know the TV show from Nickelodeon back in the day, Rocko's Modern Life, right?
No, I never watched it.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Not much of a cartoon person, were you?
Nope.
Brian, you know of it, Rocko's Modern Life.
I actually don't
funny enough, I grew up on
Cartoon Network?
No, not really. Actually,
NFL?
We had HBO. And so that's how I got into art house movies, is because at night I would, sneak and watch them movies. I didn't understand what was going on. I just wanted to see boobs.
Yeah.
Like a dumb kid.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just got... it went from me just wanting to simply just see boobs to, I guess, wanting to actually understand what the movie is trying to do.
Yeah. It went from, looking at boobs to rubbing your own, saying, "Oh, I love art."
Oh, art, Charles.
Rocko's Modern Life, it's pretty much just a nonsensical cartoon from Nickelodeon back in the day, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Well, actually mid 90s to early 2000s, about this dog just living his life. He actually, the funny thing about it, huge adult joke in it, Rocko actually works for a porn company.
Really?
Yes, and it's a kids show on Nickelodeon. Mm-hmm. He actually he works for a XXX hotline. it shows him in there, and it actually says Hotline, and it has XXX in between it. All the parents, you could just tell that they were just smiling at that.
Yeah.
But this is just a movie that it makes fun of the people that are nostalgic for those days and want those cartoons to have movies remade.
Yeah.
And Rocco, the entire time, he's like, why do people want me back? And he's having an existential crisis going nuts because people want him to make a movie.
That's pretty cool.
We ought to watch it.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Me and you watched it together after my surgery.
Watch it.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
It's about 80 minutes long. You ought to watch. It's fun.
Okay, that sounds like
it makes fun of nostalgia.
Yeah,
and then in this day and age,
people always
it's pretty relevant.
Now, you can tell I didn't learn a damn thing from that movie because my next favorite pick is Invader Zim, Enter the Flopus.
I knew that was going to come up.
I didn't watch this.
Have you heard of Invader Zim?
No.
It's another Nickelodeon cartoon.
You would actually like this show. I believe you would like this show.
Okay, so let me just give you... The original show, Invader Zim, it was a big screw you to Nickelodeon. A Nickelodeon executive found a comic book called Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. I've shown that to you. Mm-hmm. And they were like, hey, this comic's good. How about we get this guy to write a kid's show? So they went to him, and he said, I'm not going to write you a kid's show, but I will write a show that's meant for me. That's what he told him. And the guy said, you're hired. They brought him in. And literally on the first episode, they had to censor him. The first episode ended with a kid falling off of a rooftop into a wire pole and electrocuting to death. And they said, no, you can't do that. Yeah. That's not possible. So
you gotta remember this.
He kept, the entire time, he was fighting Nickelodeon while trying to make this show.
Well, yeah, it's kind of dumb to sign up.
There was, in the final season.
Why didn't he do this for Adult Swim?
They didn't offer him anything.
Dang, that'd been a lot better.
Here's something even funnier. On the final season, they said you're getting canceled. They told him. They were tired of fighting with him. He said, okay. So he actually put a character named Nick into the show, and he had Nick get a probe drilled into his head, a happiness probe, and he said, oh, I love death and violence.
One of my favorite episodes of the whole show, actually, Zim, the main character, starts harvesting organs at the local school.
Yeah.
Not kidding. That is an actual thing. He starts harvesting kids' organs.
Okay.
We're getting a bit sidetracked, but that show, I got the entire series.
It's messed up. It is so messed up.
It's one of my favorite shows from my childhood. But they made him. He came back. Nickelodeon said, or Netflix and Nickelodeon said, "Hey, come back and make us a TV show, another season of Invader Zim." He said, "Okay." And then he changed his mind and said, how about a mini-series? They said, okay. And then he came back again and said, never mind, I don't want to do a mini-series because they kept fighting him again. Mm-hmm. They go, fine, what do you want? He goes, let me just make a movie and be done with it.
Yeah.
And he made this movie. And the movie, it's absolute freaking nonsense. Mm-hmm. Just Invader Zim being an absolute idiot and being a rebel. And I love it.
Okay.
But that's my number 4.
All right.
I love cartoons. That's my favorite things on the planet. Number 3. Uncut Gems.
Okay.
Uncut Gems.
Loved this movie.
It hits like a ton of bricks. Mm-hmm. I'll give it that. Brian, you haven't watched it with us, did you?
No. We'll talk about that one here in a minute.
Okay. Well, that's the only thing I'll say about that is it hits like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
Number 2, The Irishman. You both watched this, right?
I haven't
He's not watched The Irishman.
It is long. I'm sorry.
It is.
It's 3 hours and 50 minutes. Why, Martin? Why?
I actually watched it whenever we went to the UK and Louisville game that night.
Yeah.
With you and
it's fun.
I love it. It's a great movie.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I think
it's actually a very good historical representation as well. It is a source of entertainment. Mm-hmm. If you actually watch that movie, you will learn stuff about, what's his name, Sheeran, what's his first name? Something Sheeran.
I can't remember his first name off the top of my head. You're talking about the main guy?
Yeah, Robert De Niro's
character. Yeah.
Well, you actually do learn stuff about the life of Sheeran and his accounts of how he killed Jimmy Hoffa. Mm-hmm. Very, very good. You'll learn a lot of the politics from back in the 60s. Mm-hmm. Just some cool stuff.
My favorite part of the whole movie, honestly, was it didn't hit me until the main end. Whenever I sit back and reflected on the whole movie, it was the theme of pretty much throwing your life away. Like this guy, his whole life has been like a yes man for all these people, and he's always avoided his family.
Yeah.
He never really paid much attention to him, and at the end of the day, whenever he's rotting away, dying,
he has no one to be with him.
He has no one to be with him. And I thought the saddest scene of the whole movie was at the end whenever that preacher walks out of the door and he says, "Can you leave the door just a little bit open for me because he don't want to be so alone?"
Yeah.
That killed me. But also, he deserves it. That's the saddest part.
And a preacher doing that also, that's also very similar. Like, is the door still kind of open for my redemption?
Yeah.
A little bit. Because that is actually, I'm pretty sure that's a Bible reference, too. About
Can I
doors.
still be saved?
Can I still be saved? Yeah, I think that is a Bible reference, if I'm not mistaken.
One of the more ironic parts is whenever he's talking about his grave.
Oh yeah,
and he's like, I don't want to be cremated because that's so final.
Yeah.
And yet Jimmy Hoffa was cremated.
Yeah,
I just found that, and Jimmy Hoffa, to me, throughout the whole movie,
he's another amazing theme.
I think he's the best actor in the whole movie.
Oh, he's the best. Yeah, Al Pacino.
He's incredible.
He nailed it.
Mm-hmm. But I love. He's got probably the most like characteristics to him, as in like he hates what's his name. The president.
JFK.
JFK, and whenever JFK gets shot, everybody, lowers their American flags like halfway. And he's
half-mast.
He's like, put that thing back up.
Yeah, the Teamsters, no, sirree. They rose it right back to the top, son.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that another really good theme of the movie was learnt from Jimmy Hoffa.
Mm-hmm.
Biting off more than you can chew.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Hoffa did.
Yep.
Because he was given so many chances to just live his life with his family. Well, what Sheeran should have done.
Yep.
He was being told, pretty much Sheeran was being told was not being told what Jimmy Hoffa was being told.
Yes.
They're sort of two opposites of the same coin.
Because I think Jimmy Hoffa actually tells what's his name, Sheeran?
Yeah.
Tells him, you need to spend more time with your family or whatever. And it becomes like a thing throughout the movie.
Frank Sheeran.
Frank Sheeran. And he just never does. And it shows because you don't really see the family grow up and who they become, just like he doesn't.
Yeah. It's actually very well done in that way.
But that's actually a common theme with most gangster movies by Martin Scorsese, biting off more than you can chew.
Yeah.
Going in too deep. Goodfellas, Casino, The Departed, kind of.
Casino 2.
Another movie on my top 10 here in a minute has that same theme. It's a Marty movie. Martin Scorsese does tend to be a theme of his.
Like when you go in too deep or like play with fire too much.
Yep.
Well, we're at the last one, boys.
What's your favorite movie?
Everybody plays the fool.
Sometimes there's no exception to the rule. Listen, baby!
What is it?
The Joker! Featuring Joaquin Phoenix.
We'll talk about that one here in a second.
Fine.
But I'm with you. I love it.
Oh, God.
I love it. We've seen it like 4 times.
Yeah, that's the only movie I've gone back to the movie theater.
Yeah, I adored it. But we'll talk about that one here in a second. But very good movie. Great film. What's your top 10, Brian?
There was some overlap with me and Jake a little bit.
Okay. Well, the overlap one we can just kind of like.
I have just noticed though, there's actually a lot of sci-fi on my list. We're actually starting out. Now I will say the top 3 is in order. The top 3 are in order.
Okay.
The rest of them you can probably interchange them. They're in no particular order. I'll say. But Blade Runner 2049 is definitely one that I would have to put on my top 10 list.
Visual masterpiece,
without a doubt. And it is like a. Who was the director of that movie?
What was his name? God, I forgot his name, but he also directed Sicario.
Okay.
And Arrival. But
great visual storytelling, I think. One of my favorite shots of the entire decade is Ryan Reynolds' character.
Ryan Gosling.
Did I say Reynolds?
He did.
Ryan Gosling.
Actually, yeah, Ryan Reynolds. That'd be cool. But
Ryan Gosling's character walking through that desert.
Oh, God, yeah.
To where
Harrison Ford's
hiding out in.
Yep.
That is probably one of my favorite shots.
My favorite shot is probably the part whenever he's about to have sex with the robot whenever that robot's and like it just zooms out and it shows the outside of the house and shows like this big billboard and it shows this sexy hologram girl and it says be whoever you want me to be, I'll be whatever.
Tell you everything you want to hear.
Yeah,
that'd be a good life to live.
Uh-huh.
That'd be a good life to live.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very layered too. Like there's a lot of themes to this movie. Yep. But yeah, I can't sing the praises of this movie enough.
My big problem with it was I didn't think the story was interesting.
I did.
I didn't think the characters were interesting.
I did.
But I
did. I remember me and Brian walked to that movie with our mouth just like, oh my god.
No,
my god.
The movie was pretty good. I liked it. It's just the only real thing I really liked about it was I could have turned the audio off and just watched it. And I would have been perfectly content because it's just amazing to look at.
It is a visual medium.
Yeah.
And I disagree with that because I think the
writing's pretty great.
The writing is great in that movie. I
and
think.
It very well might be.
And I love the fact that it is one of those sci-fi movies. It doesn't rely on like the big space battles or anything.
No, there's none of that.
It is.
I didn't have no explosions.
There's like one battle in the whole movie, I think.
Yeah, and they're both pretty like just low key. Like they're bear brawl. Fists, both of them are like the Batista fight at the beginning of the movie and the final fight at the end.
Yeah,
and there is a little shootout at Harrison Ford's place.
Yeah, there's also that part where they're trying. Ryan Gosling's trying to rescue Harrison Ford.
That I was talking about that. Yeah,
and I love the Hans Zimmer music that plays there and just the lighting of the scene. And I love that movie. A lot of it was built from sets.
Yes,
that stuns me because.
And I think the movie's got a very negative. I think I made this joke. I think the movie's got a very negative view on San Diego.
Oh God! Yeah.
San Diego's a trash
show.
It's a trash dump.
The hotel,
the whole city of San Diego's a dump.
You can tell because they filmed it live in San Diego.
So that movie had to. Someone making that movie had to hate San Diego. I guess.
Good.
It deserves it. But my next movie is actually Mad Max: Fury Road.
Awesome action.
Oh,
incredible.
Oh my God.
Beautiful. This is a movie where you don't need volume.
No.
Like you were there for one thing and it delivers.
The only problem with it, there's no titties.
Who cares?
Who cares?
That would have made it an 11 out of 10.
There is a man with a
guitar. Flaming guitar.
That's badass.
Shoots fire.
That's badass. But imagine if you had a chick naked next to him.
What would that do for it? Like,
amazing!
I love the plot of the movie that all these people are trying, like, basically it's about, like, these people, they're, like, trying to get water, they're running out of water or whatever, and they literally waste water like it's nothing, which I think is actually kind of part of the theme of the movie, is that people are dumb.
Yeah, and another theme of it is the fact of, like, you know, it has like this thing with like with the women being like just they're pretty much just treated like ovens pretty much for like breed my children and that's all you're good for, because the main character is not Mad Max.
No, it ain't. It's Furiosa. Yeah.
So. And Charlize Theron, I discovered Charlize Theron through this movie.
Really?
I fell in love with her.
She's awesome.
She is awesome.
Yep.
She is amazing.
I love the sandstorm part.
Oh yeah, the sandstorm part is great, and it comes out of nowhere.
It does.
It comes directly. The sandstorm just shows up.
Yep. And they just drive right into it.
It adds nothing to the movie.
No, it's just awesome.
It's just badass, and that's pretty much the theme of it. None of this really adds to the movie.
It's just badass.
It's just awesome to look at.
Just a badass movie.
It's been way too long since I've watched that. I need to give it another go.
I love it.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I think it's pretty freaking cool. Like it has themes and whatever. You're not there for that.
You're not.
You're there to watch shit blow up, and it does it really well.
I want to watch man with guitar on vehicle.
Shoot fire.
Shoot fire.
Oh yeah! I think the plot of the movie is they're trying to get oil. They're trying to get gas.
Yes.
And here this man is wasting gas.
Trying to chase.
Yeah, and shooting a guitar that's shooting out flames.
Which has to have gas somehow.
Yes!
Take fuel.
Yes!
So yeah, it pretty much is. Oh yeah, we need all this resource, but we're wasting it just so we can look cool.
Awesome! Yeah.
Then you know what? If that is how humans are going to go out, so be it.
Go out with a bang.
We go out with flaming guitars.
Yeah.
And with big badass vehicles.
Yep. I love Mad Max. I'm with you.
Spraying silver paint on their tongues.
8 is Beyond the Black Rainbow. I think we've said all we're going to need to say with Beyond the Black
Great
Rainbow.
film.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Okay. I really enjoy Guardians.
I enjoy it, but
it has slowly become my favorite Marvel movie.
I think it's the best MCU movie.
It wouldn't make my top 20.
It wasn't mine either.
I don't know, man. This movie really hits with me. I don't know why. I think it's just like one of those type of like fun sci-fi movies that I've always just wanted that I never really seemed to grasp. It is like to me the perfect sci-fi movie to me.
Yeah.
Like in the fact that it's a sci-fi adventure movie. Nothing like Blade Runner 2049. I mean. Blade Runner 2049 is actually a better movie than Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
It's just you prefer Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
It depends on my mood, but I've never had so much fun watching a movie like this. I've never, and I do find a lot of the characters engaging. I do find some of the themes very well done. Because there is like this theme of maturity to it that I really enjoy. There actually is a YouTuber that did a great video on it. Lindsay Ellis, I think her name was, and she did a great video essay on it that is actually really well done.
Yeah,
I would actually recommend it.
Okay,
but yeah, I just it's a fun movie. There's nothing more to it than that. It's just a really fun movie.
I think it's one of the better Marvel movies because it does have, unlike a lot of the Marvel movies, a distinct style from James Gunn, and he certainly brings that to it. Again, it probably wouldn't like Jake. Probably wouldn't make my top 20. Probably not even my top 50. But as for a Marvel movie, it is probably one of the better Marvel movies without a doubt.
In fairness, if I were to have a number 11, it would be Book of Eli. So I can't really say too much.
Book of Eli, 2010's movie.
I think it was.
I think it was 09, actually.
I came close to putting the Ed, Edd and Eddie movie, but it was made in 09.
Yeah, can't then.
Yeah. We can talk about it.
Okay.
But number 6, Looper.
Looper's a great film.
Never watched it.
Great time travel movie.
It is a great time travel movie.
Is it does it make any sense?
Yes.
Yeah, it actually does.
It actually does.
Yeah.
It actually it pretty much it's because at the end of the movie it ends with him like this is a whole I got it now. This is a whole paradox. I have to kill myself to stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
So it ends with him killing
himself. That's why it's called Looper.
Yeah.
It's like everything's on a continuous loop.
And the only way it's going to end is if I do this to myself. So
yeah, I really like it. It's
so I found out how it ends, guys.
It's a really good Ryan Johnson film. If you know who Ryan Johnson is, don't you?
He's the guy that made Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was his third movie, I think. I can't remember the name of his first movie. It starred Robin from Dark Knight Rises, but it's pretty good too. I can't remember the name of it, though.
Was it Bricks?
Brick, yeah, I think it was Brick.
I haven't watched it, but I think that's
06 is when it was made. I do know the year.
But Ryan Johnson actually, to me, I think he's up there with as some of my favorite current directors right now. I really love his movies. I still gotta watch Bricks though, but yeah, Looper, just a really good movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. Also, one of the better Bruce Willis's performance late in his career.
Yeah,
because Bruce Willis typically don't give a shit, but
this one he did.
He gets paid for being bold. What more could you ask for?
He's great in this movie though.
Oh yeah.
Next doesn't give a shit since Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Next one is Revenant.
Revenant is
that's
fantastic.
That's a good movie.
Yep. The Bear won an Oscar.
Wouldn't make it to my 20s, but still.
It probably would make it my top 20s.
Revenant, to me, it felt like actually kind of a callback. And there was, in the mid-2000s, with movies like Bone Tomahawk, Revenant, and even Hostels that came out a couple years ago, the Christian Bale movie, which I haven't seen.
Yeah.
But there did seem to be kind of like this little bit of like a resurgence of like those like frontier epic movies that you saw a lot in the 90s with movies like Dances with Wolves and stuff like that. And I really appreciated it. Go ahead.
I was going to say my favorite part of the whole movie was mainly I loved the look of it. It was all done with natural lighting.
Yeah, which has to be a nightmare.
Yeah, especially in that element where you don't know if it's going to snow or what's going to happen. But yeah, I adore I like the rawness of it.
Yes.
Like everything does feel very real in it, not very Hollywood-wise. So that element I really, really enjoy in it. Probably make my top 20 if I were to do like 20s. Just a great film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4 was actually is a weird one, but I as I was making the list, I thought about it. Man, this movie did hit me emotionally, so I got to put it in. Inside Out.
That's a good one.
It's a good one.
Actually,
I have seen that one.
I I honestly think it's probably one of the best Disney movies that was made over the decade.
But that's not saying much, to be honest with you, though, when it comes to their animated stuff.
They've learned how to hit the copy-paste button really, really well.
They're very good at it. But I like Inside Out.
Inside Out to me was just, it really hit with me. I actually cried at this movie.
Really?
I actually teared up watching this movie towards the end of it.
Was it the imaginary friend that had...
No, it actually wasn't that scene. It was the scene where she comes back home after running away. Mm-hmm. And her just kind of like, telling her friends how much she misses her old place and how miserable she is. I teared up a little bit that scene. Like, I felt for it.
I think Inside. It probably wouldn't make my top 20, but I do like Inside Out.
It would probably make my top 30.
Really?
Maybe.
Yeah. But I do enjoy it.
It
is a good film.
Okay.
I like Wreck-It Ralph better.
Okay.
I ain't seen it.
You never watched Wreck-It Ralph?
It's pretty good.
It's really good. I like it.
Okay, now top 3, like I said, these are in order.
Okay.
So, number 3 is Detroit.
God, I hate this movie. But not in I hate it. This movie's hard to watch.
It is hard to watch.
This movie is very hard to watch.
It is a hard sit. But that's the point. It's supposed to be.
It's a great film.
Yes.
Great film.
It is a great film. Oh, man.
The ending tore me to pieces whenever
the
the racist cops just got away with everything.
Everything they did.
These monsters will be able to live a life and not face any consequences for these terrible actions. I don't know, just found it very disturbing, but
it is very disturbing.
I really like the Detroit
because there's no catharsis at the end of it. There's no sense of justice or anything.
No.
And you thought there would be because there's one part in the scene where they get caught up into it and they look like they are going to get in trouble. And I love the fact that I think it was the police chief or something pretty much stopped the guy. Goes, "Where do you think you're going, you racist bastard?" or something like that. Yeah. So, oh man, it's hard, but I just think. It was just probably one of the most brutal showings of what a time was like. Well,
that's a true story.
It is.
Yeah. That movie that actually did happen.
And the thing is, it's just one story too. How many other atrocities,
messed up stories happened.
Yep. So
welcome to Earth. Humans are shitty.
Yep.
And that's pretty much the point of this movie.
It is
because humans are bad in this movie.
Yep.
Particularly. The 3 cops.
They're terrible people.
Absolutely terrible people.
That one boy gave a great performance. The racist cop.
I was surprised by it too because he's a monster.
Yeah.
And he thinks he isn't. That's the disturbing part. He thinks he's a good guy.
Yep.
And he's doing all these terrible things thinking he's a good guy.
He's saying it so matter of fact, nothing bad is happening while he's just shooting these innocent people.
Yeah.
Or ripping off innocent women's clothes and stuff. He's just terrible.
Yeah,
he sounds like a great guy.
He's a monster.
Sounds like it.
But, alright, so number 2, John Wick 2.
John Wick? Okay, you said you were going to talk a little bit more about the John Wick movies. So have at it.
I really think that... I actually agree with Jake here when he said that this is pretty much the best Western action movies are ever going to get to me. Mm-hmm. Just because, when you got, the choreography and you got the gunplay and you got, the sets and the effects and everything, and the fact that there is no special effects, there is no gigantic explosions, there is anything. The movie just works so well with its simplicity. All 3 of them do. Because all 3 of them are very simple movies.
Yep.
There's nothing really overly complex. There's no, big major subplots that have to tie in or anything. These movies know what they are. And what they are is just high adrenaline, balls to the wall action movies. And I think John Wick Chapter 2 does it the best out of
They're
all
really
of them.
well shot. The only complaint I would have with them is the music in them is horrible.
I actually like the music in them.
I hate the score.
Really?
I think the score in all the John Wick movies is just generic. But I like the cinematography a lot. I think it's really, really, really good. John Wick 3, I didn't love as much. There's that one part I found really dumb in it where he travels through the desert.
Yeah.
It just goes on forever. He just doesn't walk through the desert for eternity.
That's me.
That was just awful.
But here's the thing with that, though. That's just the movie knowing how... It's a hitman that can take on 5 million people at once. It knows it's retarded.
No. I'm not saying... I don't mind that being stupid or anything. I'm just saying, okay, we see, I think about 5 minutes of him just walking in a desert. I'm like, let's move on. I get it. He's on the journey to the path to become the warrior or whatever.
on the path to become the wolf.
I think the whole thing he was trying to do was he was trying to like find like the assassin leader.
Yeah, in the middle of the desert.
I think they're called the Continental.
Yeah.
You think, Brian? You're the biggest fanboy I know of John Wick. Don't say you think. You know who the Continental is.
You know.
You know John Wick's birthday. His birth sign.
Where he was born.
But you actually did get backstory in that. It turns out he was raised in like a Russian orphanage.
Yeah.
I think that was like the backstory of it. But but yeah, and honestly, even though the writing of the plot overall is never good in these movies, John Wick as a character is a well written character. And the fact. And you don't need like...
he's not really written at all. I mean...
He's written through his actions.
Oh my... He can kill the...
By murdering 50,000 people for killing his dog.
He can kill the shit out of them Russians, I tell you what. You know what? Better dead than red.
It's little things to me. It's like the small details of it.
Like the way his hair waves.
What a beautiful man.
Keanu Reeves is a very handsome
He don't
man.
age.
He's a handsome man.
That's just me. I'm a huge fan of these movies. I am.
I'm not homosexual.
This is probably my...
For him, I would be.
It is probably my favorite movie series of the whole decade. Probably. And John Wick Chapter 2 is my favorite one of the three.
Okay.
All right, let's hear your number one, dude.
You know what it is.
I know what it is.
It's Hereditary.
This movie scared the shit out of us whenever we see it.
I've still yet to see it.
Like Detroit, it is a hard sit.
So it's racist too.
No, it's just really... It is...
It's not as hard because it's not as real as Detroit is.
It just... It's something about it makes you feel icky.
It's an emotional beatdown.
It is. I'd almost argue it's on par with how real it is with Detroit, besides like all the evil...
The first half of it.
Like the family stuff.
The family aspect, yes.
Is the scariest part of the whole movie to me. Just watching his family unravel and that...
Yeah.
They just don't get along, and after the daughter's head gets knocked off by the light pole, that boy's reaction to it...
It's so...
Seeing his sister die,
like, I literally said on the way, that's how I would probably react.
Yeah, it freaked me out.
I mean, and then hearing, like, the sound effects as he's laying in bed.
Yeah.
As the mother is going out, realizes what's in the car.
You hear that scream.
And hearing the scream. And then it cutting to the husband holding her, and her in the bedroom floor just squealing.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to watch.
The dinner scene is phenomenal.
Yes, it is.
I actually think Toni Collette that year, the actress plays the mother in it.
The best performance I've probably ever seen in a movie, I think.
I think it was the best performance that year. I think she got snubbed, and she got like no awards.
She deserved all
I think
of
she
them.
was the best performance of the whole entire year in 2017. I think that film came out.
I think.
But I really enjoyed or 2018.
Yeah, I think
2018 because that was like one of the only good movies that came out in 2018. 2018 was a horrible year for movies.
But yeah,
horrible.
Yeah, Hereditary to me, it's not a movie for the faint of heart.
No,
it is not meant for a casual. Like if The Conjuring scared you,
yeah,
this movie will
give you PTSD.
This movie will change you.
Yeah. I remember whenever we watched it, and it was just one of those more... I remember we just couldn't stop thinking about it afterwards. I mean, it just stuck in our heads, and talked about it for hours, and freaked me out, that's for sure. It freaked me out a lot.
Yeah.
Great film.
And again, and even when it becomes like a typical horror film toward the end, it still is very effective. One of the best scenes in the movie to me is whenever the teenage son is walking through the dark foyer, and you see the mother on the ceiling tailing him, stalking him.
I think something actually creepier happens after that. After the mother cuts her head off or whatever she does there, the boy turns around and looks in the corner, and all these like naked old people are standing like in the shadows. And he jumps out the window. I was like, ugh! Yeah, that was bad. or that scene where like she's just hitting her head on the thing.
Yeah, that was also really freaky.
Yep.
Everything about this movie was freaky. There was not a comfortable moment in this whole movie.
No, the whole movie... You were
never comfortable.
The whole movie is very uncomfortable to watch, but it is phenomenal.
This is probably my favorite movie of the decade, just because of the impact it had on me.
Yeah.
and the fact that I couldn't sleep comfortably for a whole week.
Well, you done?
Yep, I'm done.
Alrighty, I'll get into my top 10, and actually this is a pretty cool little From that same filmmaker, my number 10 pick is Midsommar.
Which I have not seen yet, and I've got to.
It's awesome. What'd you think? What'd you think, Jake? Jake did see it with me.
Yeah.
You're speechless.
I do remember my favorite part of the whole movie was actually after the movie ended. Jake, his head was like down. He just looked defeated. Like he didn't know what the hell just happened. And
I still don't know. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. The movie is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It would have made my top 25.
Yeah.
But I still just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's trying to be more grand than what it needs to be, but in reality, it still is a good movie. It's like, the parts I don't get is like, I guess, I don't know. I don't know! I don't know!
Well, for me, what I loved about the film was the themes and ideas of basically loneliness and how the main character Danny throughout it doesn't really have someone to really rely on. Her boyfriend's
a piece of shit.
He's awful. He is a terrible person. But it ain't like
he ain't a terrible person. He's a bad boyfriend.
Yeah, that's true. Well, no, I'd say he's a terrible person because he tries to steal he also tries to steal the other boy's idea for their essay.
Well, yeah.
Like every decision he makes in the movie is pretty bad.
Even like at the start of the movie, you can tell he's not an awful human being because he's like, should I just leave her? I don't really want to be with her, but he's afraid to leave her because he doesn't want to hurt her.
Well, I think he don't want to. Well, I think he was about to break up with her, but the reason he don't is because her sister committed suicide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's pretty much leaving her just because he doesn't want to feel guilty of making her feel worse.
Yeah.
So it still is selfish, apparently.
Yeah. And that helps nobody there. And he don't even tell her about the trip to Sweden or whatever. Which, honestly, that probably would have saved his ass if she didn't come.
Yeah.
But, I love the thing where Danny, at the end, throughout the whole movie, she's felt abandoned. She's felt very alone. Didn't really have anybody to lean on or depend on anybody in her life. Then at the end of the movie, she has like all these people to depend on.
Well, she lost a family in Game 10.
Yeah. Yeah. And the movie's called Midsommar, directed by Ari Aster. For me, it's a very clever film. I really adore it. My next film, neither one of y'all have seen this, but it's actually The Lobster, and I don't know how to say this director's name, but it came out in 2016, I believe, and it stars Colin Farrell, and it's basically about this guy he's not really good for relationships. He's trying to find love, and this is a hard movie to explain. One of these days, this actually might be one of the movies I pick for us to talk about. It's just odd. Number 8 for me is Wolf of Wall Street. This is the one I was talking about. You were talking about earlier. They're directed by Martin Scorsese. You were talking about earlier that all of Martin Scorsese's movies, gangster films, have this theme of play with fire and get burnt. And this one follows a very similar thing where Leonardo DiCaprio's character, he just continuously plays with fire with the FBI, and finally, he gets burnt.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, because Goodfellas, Raging Bull, Casino, The Departed, Wolf of Wall Street apparently, and apparently The Irishman. It's all about just like biting off more than you can chew.
Yep, and it comes back to bite you in the ass later on in life. Which oddly enough, the Taxi Driver doesn't seem to have that theme. Now, Taxi Driver is kind of its own
little world.
It's its own world. Yeah.
It's kind of its own little.
That's actually probably my favorite film by Martin Scorsese. If I had to really think about
Raging
it.
Bull's probably got to be mine.
Never watched Raging Bull.
It's a great film.
Is awesome.
You love Raging Bull.
Or Goodfellas. It's Raging Bull or Goodfellas.
Great film too. But basically, almost everything he's ever done is great.
Everything he's done is a masterpiece.
Yeah. My number 7 is Heaven Knows What from the Safdie brothers. These are from the same directors as Uncut Gems. This movie is pure insanity. It's basically about... The movie stars this girl who wasn't even an actress. Apparently, like the way the movie is, this lady wrote a book about her addiction. Like, she had a lot of...
You told me about this.
She has like a heroin addiction in real life. This girl did. And she wrote a book about it and how she got clean and everything. And the Safdie brothers decided to take that book and make a film about it. And instead of casting an actress, they actually casted the girl who went through the real life experience. And almost everybody throughout the whole movie is people that's went through real life, experiences with drugs and stuff. And instead of naming them a character, they actually give them like their actual names and just tell. It's almost like pseudo documentary. And it's just raw and visceral, and it's very hard to watch. Especially there's a really sad bus scene that always makes me really sad for the main character. But phenomenal film. It does have a happy ending with her, recovering, but. Very, very tragic film. My number 6. A lot of these y'all haven't actually watched, but The Lighthouse.
I gotta see The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse is awesome.
That one I've yet to see as well.
That one will be one that we'll discuss one day. Number 5, every one of y'all have seen this one. Mother. By Darren Aronofsky.
I do like that movie. That would have made my top 20 for sure.
Hey, Brian, what do you think about Mother?
Just because I respect something doesn't mean I have to like it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Just because I respect it doesn't mean I like it.
I remember watching this movie in theaters, and I kept on looking over at Brian. I actually went to go see it twice. The second time was to go see it with Brian and Jake, but I remember kept on looking over at Brian, and I was like, "You like it?" And he's like, "I hate this movie."
I'm sorry, that movie.
I was like, "Good."
I was enjoying it more than Brian was.
I'm sorry, but it is kind of up its own ass to me. It's just.
I loved it.
I respect it. Mm-hmm. It is a good film. I will acknowledge that. Mm-hmm. But I just couldn't get past some of the things in it that just bothered me.
For me, I just love. For anybody that hasn't watched it or anything, it's what the movie essentially is. One of the readings, and the readings I got from it was basically a retelling of the Bible.
Yeah.
In this weird metaphorical form, when it like Jennifer Lawrence's character was Mother Earth, her husband was God. He was a creator. He was an artist who wrote books, and the books basically were a metaphor for the people. And these people come to aspire to be him, or love him, or worship him as an artist. And really, it's how religion is with God and stuff like that. And the people that hate this movie, it's fine. I totally get it.
Yeah,
I completely understand it. But
it is an odd movie.
For me personally, I remember it was my favorite movie of 2017. I think is the year it came out. I adored it. Just absolutely loved it.
It was a good movie. I really liked it.
My number 4 movie is a movie Brian doesn't like either. Under the Skin.
Never
by
watched
Jonathan Glazer.
I've heard the music though, and it is amazing.
The music is amazing. Freaking incredible.
The music is amazing.
Mm-hmm. But for me, I just love this film. How it's about like identity and.
Naked Scarlett Johansson.
Oh yeah. but all jokes aside, I love the film. How that nude scene, all jokes aside, is very important to the film because even though she's beautiful from the outside, her human form, whenever you take all that away, she's nothing but a black husk of nothing because she's not human. And I think it's kind of just shows the diversity and beauty of being human. You don't really know, you can't really define being human. For me, that really hit hard, and I love the ideas and themes of the film. And again, I understand this movie's not for everybody.
This movie's boring.
I loved it.
This movie's boring.
It's
boring.
I absolutely adore it. I adore it. I love the. I don't know. It's one of my favorite films of all time, really. But my number 3 movie is going to be one. Actually, no. Let's see here. Oh my God! My number 2 movie is actually Uncut Gems by the Safdie brothers.
We're gonna talk about it now.
We'll talk about it here in a minute, but I really enjoyed this film. That's all I have to say for now. Great film. My number 2 movie is a movie that Brian hates and you hate. Spring Breakers by Harmony Korine.
I never said I hated it. I just I didn't like it. What I watched of it.
Mm-hmm. I adore this movie. For me, this was a commentary on basically pop culture and how...
No way, I do hate that movie. It was annoying as all piss.
Yeah. Again, it's another movie I can see why people hate.
Movie's awful.
Okay.
Don't watch it.
That's your opinion.
Don't watch it.
That's your opinion.
It's freaking terrible. I only watched 10 minutes of it and I wanted to blow my brains out.
But for me, what I love about the movie, I guess, is that it's basically this commentary on... how dumb youth America was, because I don't know if you all remember back in the 2010s, 2011, Spring Break kind of became this thing of just anarchy where people were, like, it was having to be policed.
Yeah, everyone's like, go to Myrtle Beach or go to Miami.
Go to Panama.
Go to Panama. Yeah.
They go to Panama and they would tear it apart and the police couldn't control it. And now that's really not a thing anymore.
Weirdly enough, whatever happened to that? Because
police cracked down on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Actually, and I feel like that's what Spring Breakers was a commentary on, was that culture of basically these obsessed MTV-driven whatever it's called.
VH1?
VH1. It's basically a commentary on, that youth and how their pretty much perception of reality can be warped and how they want to become something that they saw on TV because they might think it'll gain them fame or money. Like, do you remember the Dr. Phil Catch Me Outside girl?
Cash Me Outside.
How about that? Yeah. Well, think about it. She's now a millionaire.
Yeah.
For being an idiot. So, for me, the film kind of exposes the ideas of there's people out there that they do the similar stupid things and they don't get that success. Well, and their life turns to shit.
Speaking of that,
for me, it hit me hard. I just love the film.
Speaking of that whole Spring Break thing, I do remember back whenever that was huge. Had you have graduated high school at that point?
It came out.
Or was that right before you graduated?
I think it was right before. I can't remember what year it came out, but
I think I was like I remember I was in 8th grade when that started. So you would have been like a junior.
No, I don't know, but
either way, I remember in 8th grade, people were showing me videos of these people over in Myrtle Beach. It was absolute mayhem, and people actually had like a big orgy out on the beach, and there was nothing anyone could do about it.
Yeah, no one could stop it.
Like 50 people.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
And I love in the film, I know y'all don't like as much, but throughout the film, one of the things I love in the film is basically there's this almost like ritualistic chant, Spring Break forever, Spring Break, and it becomes like this almost idea instead of just this simple fun time. And these people, they just take it overboard, and then they end up going from, we went on spring break to have fun, to end up murdering people and killing innocents and stuff. They just turn to these monsters, and at the end of the movie, they take that one big coke dealer's car and ride off into the sunset, but you can tell from their faces they're going to end up facing a harsh reality later on in life, and this is going to come back to haunt them, whether it's psychologically, whether it's like being arrested.
Kind of like the Graduate ending.
Yeah. For me, with Spring Breakers, that's what hit me hard, because I don't want to get into who it was or whatever, but there was a person I went to high school with who was very similar to a lot of them girls in the film, and her life has pretty much turned out just like, I guess, the characters in the film, and I don't know, I just thought of that girl and just thought about how sad that was. That, like, it all looks fun and candy covered on the surface. At the end of it, though, where'd it get you?
Jail time and a lifetime of, like, not even moral relativism. It's more so like moral regret.
Mm-hmm.
Regret.
Yeah,
because, I mean, I do like that message because it's like, as you get older, like Spring Break and that anarchy, the people that participate in it, they're not going to look back and think, oh, what a great time. They're going to look back and think, oh my God, I really did that.
Well, Spring Break itself, going to something like
I'm
Spring
talking
Break
about the anarchy that.
But like, yeah, going overboard, like doing drugs and robbing people or shooting people or whatever, having orgies on beaches.
The only counter argument I would have is like they're already doing that at the beginning of the movie. They're robbing people just to go to Spring Break.
That's true.
That's the point.
But I think, but they start off robbing a chicken shack, right?
Yeah.
That's a very small crime in compared to what they go.
It's still a big crime. It's an armed robbery.
Sure. Well, they didn't have real guns. You find out later in the film they didn't have real guns. They went in with just toy guns and robbed the place. And later on throughout the film, whenever they meet this gangster played by James Franco, they're enticed by this life because he was enticed by the lifestyle of Scarface, his favorite film of all time, which is one of the funnier jokes in the whole movie. But he's like, I don't. But yeah, he's like obsessed with Scarface. He has like posters all over his house. He loves Scarface, and
I hate James Franco's stupid face.
He's great in the movie, but in the movie, what I love is basically it shows how. It also don't take a side of like, oh, this is just today's youth. No, this is how the world's always been. I mean, he's obsessed with Scarface. He takes this to the max. Uses media or film in the wrong context. is a total buffoon and wants to be just like a fictional character, like a big dummy.
Well, the thing is, he wants to be like a fictional character, but the entire point of the movie Scarface is to show that Tony Montana is the bad guy.
Yeah, well,
you don't want to be like him.
I know, but
but that's why I'm not saying like you're saying opposite of me. I'm saying that's the point
of Scarface. Yeah,
and this guy taking that out of context and thinking, oh, this guy's the good guy, and he dies in the end.
Yep, and so does James Franco. He gets shot in the head at the main end of it, like because throughout the whole movie, he's just like, oh, I'm a big bad gangster. I'm gonna show these bad drug dealers who I am. I want and no, he just gets shot. Nothing epic happens with him. He just dies immediately. And
drive-by shooting.
Well, no, he goes on up here and they try to invade this other guy's house and he gets his head blown off.
Oh, gotcha.
But I guess they start off robbing a chicken shack, and then they have this huge party where they trash a hotel and do a bunch of drugs, and then they get mixed up within this gang. And then Gomez's character was like, I need to get out of here. This is too much. We've already done too much, which I don't even think she was part of the robbing. She just done the party and stuff. But then as they go on, they start murdering people and do these horrific acts of violence. And by the end of the movie, their life is screwed forever. And it's all because of this escalation of, we start here, we think this is cool to go on spring break, just rob this chicken shack, and the end.
You don't think their life is screwed forever after robbing a chicken shack, though?
Well, no.
No, not really. I mean, they just robbed the chicken shack and took some money. They'll probably go to jail for like 2 or 3 years. But they didn't murder anybody.
They go to jail for 6 months.
But murder, that's a different story entirely.
Yeah, it is. But I'm just saying, as far as like the escalation, going from armed robbery to murder.
It's not even. You don't instantly go to murder.
But I don't think it's. But I don't think the escalation is as steep as you're claiming. I don't think.
I do.
Yeah, that's a pretty. Big
that's a pretty.
And it's not even armed robbery at that point. It's just robbery.
Yeah, because they're going in with toy guns.
Yeah, but still, the intent is still there. I don't think that
their intent is to take money, not murder people.
Yeah, but I don't think
their intent is to murder people.
I don't think the charges that could have been pushed against them wouldn't have changed regardless.
No. But morally, it would. Psychologically, it would. Whether if
you're
rob a chicken shack or murder a bunch of people.
You're going the big difference here is that if you're robbing it with guns and you're planning on killing someone that doesn't give you money, that's armed robbery. But if you're going in with a ruse of rubber guns just to try and scare someone into giving you money, it's a big difference.
And at the end of the movie, they're not even robbing any place or trying to get money. They just go to murder people because they just don't like them.
Rebel.
So, for me, them getting mixed up in that lifestyle, to me, was just very tragic for the characters or whatever. I don't know, just a very interesting film. But I'll move on to my next one. I know you all hate this movie. But a movie that I know Jake does adore, and it's my number one of the decade,
I already know.
is a Joker.
Joker! That's life.
That's life.
That's what all the people say.
I hate that song now, by the way. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that. I do hate that song.
That's life?
Yeah, because you guys won't stop singing it.
I love it.
But I don't let it get me down. 'Cause this final world, it keeps spinning around.
But, yeah, that's my number one film of the decade. We'll talk about it here in a second. But I adore it. The top 10 worst, we'll just go through these really quickly because who cares?
I go first.
Okay, go ahead. Just name them. Who cares about the top 10 worst?
We totally didn't write this.
Okay,
This is
so
all improv, by the way.
I'm just going through them. Emoji Movie, Minions, Star Wars, Solo, Suicide Squad, Justice League, The Hobbit, Lion King, Frozen, and Last Airbender.
Okay. Yeah, all these movies are horrible.
I actually didn't even have Last Airbender on mine, huh?
Okay. Yeah, it came out in 2010.
Right.
Yep.
I completely forgot about that.
What's your top 10 worst movies?
Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Yeah. I put that at the bottom of my list because I did like it when I first watched it.
Yeah, but it's a horrible movie.
It is a horrible movie. X-Men Apocalypse.
Pretty terrible.
Yeah. Underworld Awakening.
I haven't seen it, so.
Never watched it.
Yeah, it's.
This is not good.
I actually plan on talking about that series.
Okay.
In a future podcast. Justice League. I'm sure that's cathartic for you. Assassin's Creed.
Okay. I kind of don't hate this movie, but it's not a good movie.
Oh my god, it's Grown Ups 2.
Okay.
Which I actually think is Adam Sandler's worst movies
Hey,
ever made.
you think Assassin's Creed is a worse movie than Justice League?
These are in no particular order.
Okay.
I just wrote it out.
Who cares?
Mine were in no particular order.
Okay. Mine actually were.
Taken 2.
Okay.
Taken 2, really?
Taken 2's horrible.
You're actually going to try to defend Taken 2?
Yes.
Piece of shit.
It's a terrible movie, but not one of the worst.
Okay.
Woman in Black 2.
Pretty terrible movie.
I didn't think it was that terrible.
I thought it was horrible.
I despise this movie because I'm a fan of the first one.
Yeah.
So
I love the
despise
first
I think it's a bad movie.
it. Bye Bye Man.
The greatest film ever made.
That movie.
One of the worst movies I've ever seen of all time. Without a doubt. And 12 Strong.
12 Strong was the most boring movie
I-
I've ever watched.
Oh my god.
The best part of the whole movie was this old lady behind us who kept on going, "Oh, Jimmy, is that man about to die?"
Yeah, she kept asking questions.
Yeah, to her husband. They're both like 80-year-old people, but yeah, the movie sucks.
Alright, your turn.
Patriot.
Alright, my top 10 worst movies is number 10, Bye Bye Man. Number 9, Suicide Squad. Number 8, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Number 7, Movie 43. Number 6, Jack and Jill. Number 5, Valentine's Day. Number 4, Ant-Man the Wasp. Number 3, The Starving Games. Number 2, Alita Battle Angel. Number 1, Justice League, the worst film ever made in the history of filmmaking.
You really think that The Starving Games is that bad?
You're kidding.
You're actually not going to try.
The Starving Games would actually probably be my number 1. The only reason it's not my number 1 is because it's not a big budget film and it just went straight to DVD, so who cares? That movie's horrible.
I actually thought it was hilarious.
You would.
Okay.
I thought it was hilarious.
Which I don't hate. I didn't hate Alita Battle Angel.
I thought it was hilarious how bad it was.
But,
I could never put a movie that was so bad it's good in a category like
I
that.
think it's one of the worst things I've ever watched in my entire life.
I was not bored for a second throughout it. I thought it was hilarious.
I'd rather have
There
AIDS.
was some jokes in it that were hilarious.
No.
And then the rest of it that was terrible was just funny.
No. I
have it on Blu-ray.
You're an idiot.
you would.
You're actually.
It's slowly but surely just been. It's not a good movie, but there will have some funny parts. But like, I actually liked a lot in this movie. I have it on Blu-ray. It's my favorite movie. Of all time. Just a slow escalation.
I don't want to sound like an idiot at first.
Yeah. Well, we already talked about 12 Angry Men.
Yes.
Okay. Uncut Gems. We have not discussed that one.
Yes!
All right. Uncut Gems.
Let me go.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's so good! Okay, so summary of the movie. Brian, you haven't watched it yet.
No,
Why?
I haven't been able to.
Let's go.
Okay, summary of the movie. Adam Sandler plays a man who is addicted to gambling, and he is in big time with, 4 or 5 different gangs in New York City.
In the Diamond District.
In the Diamond District. He owns a pawn shop, or is it
A jewelry shop.
It's a jewelry store. He owns a jewelry store, and he has a family, of course. His family hates his guts.
Yep.
He has a mistress. His mistress loves him.
Yep.
It's his counterpart. Well, the entire movie is literally just him trying to get out of debt with these gangsters and the shenanigans in between.
Yep.
That's the movie. That's all it is. The movie ends with
we'll get
a train. It's a train wreck. It's a damn train wreck. That's what it is.
Yeah,
you can't keep your head on straight. The movie is crack cocaine.
Yes.
The movie.
Yes.
That is Tyler told me that, and that is the best way to say what the movie is, because you can't keep your head straight in it.
Like, you know how most movies, they like stop for pacing, to give the audience a break. This movie
It doesn't care.
does not apply by that rule at all. This movie, from the opening of the movie begins with a man, his leg being like pretty much in Ethiopia. His leg is like just
blown off,
bones sticking out, bleeding everywhere, people shouting everywhere. Fix this man, fix him, whatever. While they're trying to find this gem in this mines. And you go into the gym. You're introduced to Adam Sandler's character in one of the weirdest things ever through his butthole. Whenever he's getting a prostate exam,
the movie starts with a butt joke that cracks me up.
Yeah, and it basically just shows his life is shit. Like this guy.
I think it also represents Adam Sandler's acting career.
No, I don't think they're trying to do anything meta like
down.
that. That's funny people. Funny people does that. But with this film, what I love so much about it is. From the start, there's no quit. There's no time to relax. Adam Sandler has to get this money by next Monday. If he doesn't, he's a dead man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Adam Sandler goes, tries to get the money, keeps on gambling away half the money, trying to make more money. And then he has this gemstone or whatever he's trying to get to Kevin Garnett, but he won't actually sell it to him in the store because he's like, I'm going to put it on the auction. He'll buy it for a lot at the auction. The auction that he takes it to underprices it big time. So then he has like his family member try to jack up the prices in the auction, and Kevin Garnett's trying to buy it, and then Kevin Garnett finally goes, I ain't gonna buy it. And then the family member's stuck with a gemstone that's like millions of dollars. He just paid millions of dollars for it.
They paid like $215,000.
Yeah, and then Kevin Garnett, he's like, I'll get the stone off you anyways. He buys a stone. Adam Sandler's bright idea is he has enough money to pay off these gangsters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what would you do? Option A. Brian, you haven't seen the movie. I'm going to ask you. Option A. Would you give the money to the gangsters? Clean up your debt. Put your family, make your family feel safe.
Get your divorce.
Get your divorce over with. Or option B. Gamble it all on a basketball game, hoping to make millions.
Oh, I'm going to option B.
That's what he does.
It's all or nothing, guys. Come
That's
on.
What he does.
Where's your gut set? Come on.
I see Kevin Garnett, and he's like, I'm going to bet all this on you tonight.
Kevin Garnett's like, you're an idiot. What
It's like, are you stupid?
And you know his excuses? He goes, those people that tell you can't do it? He goes, yeah. He goes, fuck those guys. Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to edit that part. But, okay.
He goes, hell with those guys. Let's do it.
Hell with those guys. But, yeah, that part to me was freaking hilarious, where Kevin Garnett is essentially telling him, do not do this. So he goes, and he actually wins.
Yeah.
He actually wins all this money. But throughout the whole movie, he's been so untrustworthy with these gangsters. They just shoot him in the head.
they just shoot him and kill him.
They just kill him right there.
Yeah.
And they just rob the place because you can't trust this guy. Throughout the whole movie, he's been saying, I'll get your money. I'll get it to you sometime. No, never. Never. So he just takes it all and just gambles it.
So they just take all the stuff in his store.
Yep. And that's the movie. For me, it was, there was that one scene, too, that me and you, I remember you actually, your head hurt after that scene, where they're trying to get the door unlocked. You remember what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to get the door unlocked. It goes on for 10 minutes, and the scene does not quit at all. There's hardly any cuts, and they spend 10 minutes trying to get the door open. Then, once they get the door open, his buddy comes in, is really mad at him because Adam Sandler's been selling his watches they've been keeping in a safe, takes his Gatorade, pours it in a fish tank, tries to kill the fish, while Adam Sandler's on the phone with his doctor about the colonoscopy. Like, it just does not quit.
In fairness, I don't blame Adam Sandler for getting pissed off at that worker of his because he keeps stiffing him really badly.
I understand what you're saying, but here's my counter argument to that. This guy that has worked for Adam Sandler is probably tired of this shit. Of doing
or with the way you're describing him, he's just learned from him.
Huh?
Or with the way you're describing him, he's just learned from Adam Sandler's character.
I don't see that. No, he says more in the movie.
Yeah, so I shouldn't make guesses like that. But like, if you're talking about like Adam Sandler constantly stiffing or constantly, like cheating people or something like that, and this other character is doing the exact same thing to him.
Well, Kevin Durant, he keeps begging for the gym when he first sees him, so he could take it to get good at basketball.
And he actually does.
And he's like, okay, fine, you can have it for one day. You have it back to me by what was it, the end of the weekend.
Yeah, well, no, he needs it back by the next day.
Oh yeah, the next day.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, here, take this as collateral, and he gives him his championship ring,
the Celtics ring from 2008.
Yeah. Oh. And the very first thing he does as soon as
Kevin Durant walks out, he takes a picture of it first and shows it to his son. He's like, look what I got. I got Kevin Garnett's ring. Immediately after, what's he do, Jake?
He takes it to a pawn shop. He pawns it off. He pawns it away immediately so he can get gambling money.
Yep. He's a scumbag.
Complete scumbag.
But for me, Uncut Gems for me was just incredible. Also, Adam Sandler in the movie probably gives, in my opinion, his best performance he's ever given.
Even over Punch Drunk Love?
Yeah, I think it's better than Punch Drunk Love.
He did.
Punch Drunk Love, to me, it's a great performance. Incredible performance. But at the same time, he is playing a heightened version of a Sandler character in a Sandler movie in a weird way. Because Almost Punch Drunk Love is weirdly an art house Adam Sandler movie.
Mm-hmm.
Where this is nothing like anything Sandler's ever done. This is not a role that he's never... I mean, it's just something he doesn't do. And he kills it. This is why I get mad at Sandler. Do more movies that are good. Quit doing Jack and Jill and Grown Ups 2. And
give me Jack and Jill 2. What if that's going to be his movie he's bringing out?
Well, you know... Oh, yeah. Did you hear what he said? If he didn't get nominated for an Oscar, he'd keep on making more shitty movies.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, time for everybody to watch some... You know, this is how you tell if an Adam Sandler movie is going to be good or not. If it has Happy Madison Productions in front of it, it's going to be awful.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, it's going to be great. So, but, yeah, I loved Uncut Gems. Do you have anything more to add to Uncut Gems?
Watch it.
Yeah. The cinematography's great. The score is incredible. The Safdie brothers are just incredible filmmakers. I can't wait to see what they do next. But our final movie.
That's
we've all seen this film.
Yep.
It's Joker. That's life. I'll start with Brian because I know Brian has more of a differing opinion on this film than we do.
Yeah,
I like
this
this
over
movie.
and circle jerk about it.
I do like this movie. I want to
Okay.
make that clear. I think it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't love it as much as you guys did.
Okay.
Like I
It's
said,
better than water.
it's not on my list of. It's not on my top 10 favorite list of 2010s.
I think it makes Guardians of the. I think it's 10 times better than some of my Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
It's just a movie that I would just something that personally hit with me, I guess.
What did you like about the film?
Walking Phoenix performance, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Some of the visual storytelling was very good. One of my favorite being of him constantly at the end, throughout the whole movie, just walking up that huge stair, those huge flight of stairs, and then at the end of it, in his Joker persona, just dancing downwards as if like he's constantly fighting an uphill battle, constantly trying to climb up,
And he spirals into madness.
and then he just spirals and just starts coming down.
Yeah.
That is probably one of my favorite elements of the entire movie. And the cinematography is good. It has good cinematography.
It's actually done by natural lighting too, which I really appreciate.
Yeah. So yeah, there are a lot of positives to have with this movie.
What didn't you like?
It started with a few. I'll start with like some of like my smaller things, like the girlfriend subplot. I didn't like.
I adore it.
Yeah. That's supposed to be there.
I don't think so.
What do you mean you don't think so? What do you mean?
I just don't think. What would you miss in that movie if you would cut that whole subplot out?
For me, everything.
One of the things
For me, that's actually one of the more important elements.
because
of the whole film.
as far as Arthur Fleck knows in that movie, that is one of the only people that is keeping him strung to his existence.
Well, to me, I feel like that character kind of served the whole purpose of... Basically, the most intriguing thing for the film whenever I was watching it was it's a character study about an unreliable narrator. Usually your character studies do revolve around a reliable character that you are studying. But throughout the whole movie, Arthur Fleck, you really don't know if what he's doing or what's going on in his life is true or not. And really that scene kind of pretty much puts that to the forefront of what is real. And also one of the things I really appreciate is at the beginning of the film he gets hit by a taxi, right? While he's chasing down them kids. At the end of the film he gets hit by a taxi as Joker whenever he's running from the cops. Early in the film he's on the train alone, no supporters, no one there with him. At the end of the film he's on a train, he has all these supporters and all these people with him. So it makes you wonder, like, some of these elements throughout the film, are some of these like a revenge fantasy of Arthur, or did these things actually really happen? And I don't think them are questions meant to be more answered as in more asked and more for you to ponder on. But as for like the actual story, when it comes to that character, I believe it shows Arthur as a character, for me at least, what I loved about it was it showed that he doesn't really view people as people you love or you care about or anything. It's almost that he views people as kind of these things for his own enjoyment. You know, like this girl, she's my girlfriend in his head, and it's not real, obviously. But for me, with Arthur, it always felt like
Well, to me, it just I actually saw something different with the fact that it was like just the fact that something that's always been missing with him throughout his whole life was a lack of companionship.
Yeah, well, he didn't have a father.
And that's what he was seeing with the girl. I just don't see like how if you cut that whole subplot of him imagining this neighbor of his being his love interest. I don't know what you'd miss. I don't know, like...
For me, it would entirely screw up the film, but... I thought that was one of
because you already have, like, plenty of scenarios where he's imagining, like, his favorite talk show host.
Sure, yeah.
Like, inviting him on stage. Him, like, just, like, stretching out, like, reality of, like, Thomas Wayne is my father. Like, there's already plenty of it.
I think the girlfriend element also reveals one of the more important elements of Arthur after the subway shooting, where he goes up to the room, imagines he's having sex with the girl, which to me always felt like after the subway scene or whatever, it showed a sense of almost aroused. He was aroused by doing this, which added a little bit. It was almost more terrifying because he murdered 3 people. Now, them first 2 people they murdered
weren't really murdered.
Yeah. That was self-defense. But that third one, that was execution. But he hunts him down and just shoots him. And he imagines having sex with this girl afterwards, and he stalks her. And for me, with Arthur, it also showed, like, whenever he's in the hospital, for instance, and his mother is always sick there. Again, like you said with the companionship part, I feel like that was important. But also one of the things I loved about it was she leaves the room right before Murray Franklin plays the clip of the comedy show. So
he didn't want her to know about that.
Yeah, and she wasn't even there, but to him...
Here's one thing that I just thought of, though. How do you know that they were going to play his clip?
Well, no. I'm saying, like, you don't know, like, it's hard to really explain. Okay, so... She leaves the room for coffee.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever. And then they play that clip. That's just it, though. It's all in his head with the girlfriend. So, it's one of the things she could have left 10 minutes ago. She could have left then.
But that to me, like... See, I don't think the movie is as open as you guys...
I definitely
do. Claim it is. Well, and not the fact, because with something like that, it's almost like... Yeah, but she left whenever the clip starts playing. But I mean, reality still is his mother is still sick and in the hospital. That still is reality.
True. Yeah.
And you would think it seems like
she went awake then, though.
The entire movie is him trying to cope with a terrible reality.
Well, that's an interpretation.
Because to me, it's just a constant beat down until he can't take it anymore, and he just snaps.
That's an interpretation.
That's my interpretation of it. And and another interpretation I have is the fact of is whenever he's doing all these things, and now he's starting to get glorified for it. It's not the fact that he starts out doing it because he wants a revolution to get started. Mm-hmm. He's doing it for catharsis. Yeah, all this stuff is.
I didn't view it that way.
He's all like whenever he kills the 3 guys on the subway, and then he kills.
Well, yes.
And then he kills the guy in his apartment, the former employer, the guy he used to work with.
I don't think that's why he did that, but I'll let you continue.
I get the feeling that he was because this guy personally wronged him.
Yeah,
like
the gun. Yeah,
I get the feeling that he's been wanting to kill this guy for weeks, ever since he got fired. So a lot of this, it feels like he's just doing this all for his own catharsis, and everybody that's noticing it is starting to just jump onto it, being like and making a cause out of it. Mm-hmm. But then that starts kind of like kicking into his head a little bit, like where he's imagining his girlfriend calling whoever did that to those 3 guys a hero and
stuff.
F them. Yeah, and stuff like that. I don't know. I guess I like the movie. Mm-hmm. I just didn't love it as much as you guys did.
Okay,
I don't think it's as groundbreaking as you guys think it is. Personally, I mean because I thought Fight Club did this a million times better. If I'm being honest, did a movie like this kind of plot.
Okay, well,
that's just my personal opinion, but
I'm going to get into my analysis of it before Jacob speaks because this is going to be a bit. But actually, I'll let you go first because I have a lot to say. I'll let you speak. What do you... Just give your thoughts on it.
Well, The score of the movie was absolutely phenomenal.
By Hilda Gatoro, or whatever. I can't pronounce her name.
Hilda Gatoro.
She's incredible.
She's Norwegian.
Yeah, she's a great composer.
Pronounce it correctly.
And I love the music in the film because it does tell a story, which I adore.
Yes, it does. The music was spot on. The directing was spot on. The writing was spot on. The acting was spot on. The movie's open for interpretation. Yeah. Don't listen to Brian.
Well, I mean, film is subjective. Yeah.
It's objective.
It's the greatest movie ever made.
Shut up! Stop disagreeing with me. But honestly, I think that's about all I have to say about it. Like my own thoughts on it and stuff. I've already spoken it to death over and over.
I remember when we were going to Lexington, we couldn't stop talking about it.
Me and Tyler went to Lexington twice to watch football games. Mm-hmm. The entire way there and back the first time, we talked about nothing but Joker. The entire way there, we the second time, still talked about nothing but Joker, and halfway back, then we started talking about Under the Skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about all I have. It honestly sort of hurts me a little bit to keep talking about it at times.
Okay, so I'll go into my
thank God
how I feel about the film. Okay, the movie opens up with something that I think is just flat out incredible that enough movies don't do nowadays. Is just a very simple intro that gets you. Well, first, actually, before that, the Warner Bros. Logo, the old school Warner Bros. Logo, that was really cool. But okay, past that, it opens up with the intro where you basically just get all the exposition you need on the city, the state of it, without 10 minutes of showing, like, without someone to stand up on a podium and be like, oh yeah, so the city, we don't have sanitation workers. You just hear it on the radio, while also learning something about the character of Arthur, where it zooms in on the mirror. He is trying to put on a happy face, and he just cannot, and he's crying. And you hear throughout the radio that sanitation workers ain't getting paid, and that it affects everybody in the city. And this is a city already on the state of decline. The city is about to just go under. It is becoming a hellhole as we speak. And then it cuts to Arthur Fleck with a sign that says everything goes, which, yeah, thematically, yeah. Well, anyways, so he's holding up the sign, gets beat up by these kids. They take his sign. He presses like the little flower on his jacket, still trying to find the humor in it, and like water comes out. It sprouts out, which gives you insight into the character of Arthur, which, you know, even in the darkest and worst moments, he still tries to find the humor in things. And then it cuts to him in a room with a therapist. He's laughing uncontrollably. You don't know why yet. But for me, this scene, whenever he's laughing uncontrollably, I was like, I don't know what's going on here, but whatever. He's laughing uncontrollably. I just thought that was really weird. And then it just cuts, he just stops, and you can tell like him laughing uncontrollably is choking him up, and he's, but, yeah, talks to the psychiatrist, she gives him his medicine, he walks up the steps, and Arthur, whenever he's Arthur, has his back bent, doesn't walk with much posture, no confidence, or nothing. Walks up the steps.
Really dark.
And like, I love the way the city is like his like neighborhood. It's like a lot of arcs. Like he's almost like climbing up all the time, which I think they shot this in the Bronx.
Yep.
But in the Bronx apparently are a lot of like steeps and stuff like that. And thematically that really works for the character of Arthur. As he's walking up these steps, you learn a lot about his mother and their relationship, and that's just an odd relationship. It's just weird. And I watched Murray Franklin. That's the first time you get the inside of this guy. He imagines things with because he's looking for a father figure. He's his dad apparently ran out for a pack of cigarettes and never came back. The only reason I'm saying that is because that's what Murray Franklin says, and I believe that's what Arthur's dad did. He's just projecting that onto Murray. You know, trying to find something within how people project themselves on other people if they can't cope with reality of their life. And I love I think the next scene, if I'm not mistaken, what was the next scene after that? I think he goes to work. I think.
Yeah, and he gets the gun.
Yes, he goes to work, gets the gun.
Bitched out by his boss. Right?
Yeah, and his boss bitches him out, and. Honestly, I can see where the boss is pretty mad because there's this sign
It's gone missing.
Yeah, this guy is going out of business. Like, just return the sign. And again, just another bad thing in Arthur's life. But some of this also, I believe, even though these are bad things that are happening to Arthur, I don't think what he does later on is justified. I think that Arthur, to me, he's a narcissist in that anytime something bad happens into his life, he believes he's justified to go to one extreme or another, and he, justifies it to himself by the end of the film. But I love the train sequence. I'll just go ahead and skip forward to that. I love what that represents to the character of Arthur in that scene, the slow transformation begins. That's where you start to see the clock tick on when Arthur's going to die and Joker's going to be born. And you brought up a good point, Jake. I hadn't noticed this actually the second time we were watching the movie, but you said this to me, and you're like, I think he tried to shoot himself. And it's actually the part whenever, Joaquin Phoenix is so good, he subtly holds the gun to his head and then just panics.
Yeah.
He thought about shooting himself there for a second.
Yeah.
And then he goes, no, I'm killing that guy. And that factors in later into the movie on the talk show. But moving on. So, kills that guy in execution style. Has this beautiful dance in the bathroom. Well, just the music. The music, I've heard people say it's just sad music. I found it a beautiful... I didn't find it sad or anything. I found it almost like a beautiful transformative moment for the character of Arthur.
I found it to be, beautifully horrifying.
Yes, but at the end of the day, there's almost like beauty in that dance to where you see a man transforming and...
into a woman.
Into Bruce Jenner. But whenever he transforms, it's, to me... Yeah, it's elegant. It's beautiful. It's disturbing, but it affects you. At least it did me. And then later on in the movie, he goes to this therapist. Therapist cut funding. Well, not the therapist, but the city's cut funding, which just adds another layer on top of, Arthur's life sucks, obviously. But also, this is also a current running theme within this city as a whole, too. It's not just Arthur. The fact that we're just talking about Arthur don't really put it into perspective. This whole city's going through this. I mean, we have trash bags piled up every street corner. And this actually was a thing that, if I'm not mistaken, happened in the 70s in New York City, where sanitation workers wasn't getting paid nothing. And they were just like, hell with it, we're not going to work. Hell, we actually had a recent thing that happened where we all live, where... them coal miners?
Yeah, the coal miners.
They protested
they blocked the railroad.
Yeah, because they weren't getting paid. And these things, I don't know, it just sucks. And, yeah.
Pay them!
Yeah, but sanitation workers wanted a raise, so they just stopped cleaning up the garbage in Gotham. And he goes back, he goes to the comedy club, completely bombs, but in his head he thinks he does great. And whenever he's back at the house, his mom receives some letter from...
Bruce Wayne.
No, not Bruce Wayne. Thomas Wayne.
Sorry, Thomas Wayne.
But I think that letter...
No, that was the letter she was writing to him.
Yes, it was. You're right. That was the letter she was writing. Yes.
He was finally tired of keeping putting in stupid letters. He decided to open it and figure out what was going on.
Yep. And one of the saddest parts to me is whenever she says... I had to sign some papers, whatever, saying that, it's not your father, blah, blah, blah. And she says, imagine what people would say about us, about you. And then Arthur says, what would they say about me, Mom? That killed me. That was sad.
Yeah, that shows the kind of person Penny is.
Penny sucks.
She's an awful... She's...
Or is she? Hold on.
Oh.
Okay. She might be. We'll get to that. But whenever he goes to the Wayne's house, what I loved about him going to the Wayne's house was actually the clothing items that the characters were wearing. Where Arthur was wearing this kind of brownish coat, tannish coat, and these black pants, right? And it looked like he was straight off the streets. Looked very rough. Where Bruce Wayne, his counterpart, who eventually becomes Batman, we all know that, but he's wearing
in this universe.
Yeah. He's coming Batman, but anyways, he's wearing this tan suit in these tan pants, these black
Very proper
proper pants, just really nice wardrobe, and it kind of shows. It kind of plays into something that I'll get into here later. But he goes to the Wayne's house. Then he meets Thomas Wayne. Thomas Wayne punches him in the face because he puts his hands in his kid's mouth and chokes the butler. So yeah, Thomas Wayne beats the hell out of him. And then the next morning, I think that's when everything started to become in decline. And I think things start to unravel and go crazy whenever he's off his medication because he can't get his medicine anymore. And that, to me, is when the film starts to do things that make you question some things. And one of them, first off, is gets a call from the Murray Franklin show. I don't know about that, but we'll continue. Goes to the mental hospital. Arkham gets this file, sees in it that his mother was he was adopted. I don't know about that, but I'll get to that here in a second. Goes on the Murray Franklin show, shoots Murray Franklin, blah, blah, blah. Joker's a hero at the end to all these people.
That's life.
That's life. But where I find it interesting, I know this sounds like incoherent rambling, but...
That's the movie.
Well, no. But it's just hard. I should have wrote this down, honestly, because I have a lot to say, because I feel like the movie, one of the big themes about it is it's about wealth equality. Let's start with that. It's about how the 1% kind of leave the 1% to kind of fend for themselves, and after they make all these promises to help the people, whatever, and they just don't. Hell, they won't even pay sanitation workers to clean up the city. What kind of leaders are these? And this is a thing that happens constantly throughout life. You have, again, like that coal mine incident where just pay them.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with any of this madness, and you push people to a certain limit, they break. And I don't think Arthur's part of that, though. I think Arthur don't really understand any of that stuff. For me, Arthur starts this revolution unintentionally because all he's seeking throughout the movie is companionship through people. He just wants to...
He wants a good old friend.
He wants to identify with somebody, either whether it's that girl or he wants a father figure. The main thing he seeks in life is companionship. And at the end of the film... he gets it from all these people. And these people think that he's a leader of, stand up against government and stuff like this. That's not what he wants. He's just happy to have these people notice him throughout the whole movie. Heck, one of the lines in the movie is, throughout my whole life, I thought I never existed, but I do. And people are starting to notice. And at the end of the movie, people do notice him. And to me, that plays into partially his narcissism, is that this is not for like some greater cause of the good of humanity or make the city better or whatever. No, he just wants people to notice him. And obviously schizophrenia is obviously a thing that plays into this.
Yeah.
Because, like I said earlier in the film, him getting hit by a taxi, then him getting hit by a taxi later on. Was he really on the talk show? Did he possibly spend the whole movie in the asylum? Because earlier in the film, he's in therapy, and it shows him in the asylum banging his head against the wall, and it has the similar clocks, 10-10, 10-10, which means make a wish. His wish could be this fantasy. So there's a lot of details put out throughout the film that,
so he's gonna
for me...
can I cut in real quick?
Yeah, sure.
He's going to wish to have an imaginary girlfriend?
No. That could have happened. That might have happened, at least.
But the cut to him in that asylum was at the very beginning of the movie. It's in the first 10-15
yes,
minutes
it
of the
is.
movie.
Let me finish real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, I get what you're saying. I totally understand.
That's one of the reasons why, if all this movie was in it, like starts within his head.
I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying that's a possibility.
Okay,
but there is hints. There are undeniable hints. I mean, whether you might not like it, but there is hints to that. That is in the movie.
But
10-10, 10-10, 10-10, and also there is.
But then you're going out of your way to make plot holes just so you can add in another layer or another like possibility of an interpretation this movie could have, though.
What do you mean plot holes?
Like it is a gigantic plot hole if it would be a gigantic plot hole if one of the interpretations is this whole thing, the whole movie is in his head, because at the start of the movie, the whole 10-10 thing, but. Then why would he imagine himself getting an imaginary girlfriend, or like why would he imagine himself getting fired, or something like that? I mean, like that's what I'm.
Hold on.
That's my point.
That's just it, though. These things could have actually been things that did happen to him, but this is a retelling of his story. If you see my point, and like it's more of an exaggerated form of that story where he might have had an imaginary girlfriend, and the first parts of it might be true, where the story kicks in whenever he's off his medicine. What you're saying, I get what you're trying to say, and I get it. To me, it's fine. This is a schizophrenic that we're dealing with. At least that's the way I felt. And I don't really know what to trust from him. And I'm not even saying, like, even on the surface level of the film, if you don't even have that interpretation, it still has a good story, in my opinion, from A to B, even if you don't have any interpretations of anything being real or fake, besides the girlfriend part, obviously. But even then, I believe it has a good story. These are just extra nuggets that I think that create a greater conversation within after seeing it.
And to me, though, these extra hints bring the movie down. To me, in my own opinion of it.
So you like it more if it was just the story told and...
Well, I think like all these greater hints of it trying to be more open for interpretation did diminish the overall story itself, because like I said, it does create, like some of these interpretations create massive plot holes in this movie.
I don't think they do, but because I don't know what to trust. I mean, again, some of these things, like you could honestly read the whole movie as all the imaginary girlfriend stuff happened and that was real. And then at the end of the movie, all the Joker stuff was horseshit, with all the connections with the car hitting him and the train station and the Murray Franklin show and them connections that are parallels to the beginning of the film and the stairs. So I believe, look, it's fine. You didn't like it. I understand that part.
But I do like the movie itself. I'm saying
that part of the interpretation stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, that is actually that was one of the better elements of the film. I absolutely adored it. It was it's my favorite movie of the decade, and I don't know, just thought it was incredible.
And personally, I've never been a huge fan of leaving stories purposefully vague just so you can get more open interpretations of it. Mm-hmm. I've never been a huge fan of that type of storytelling, if I'm being honest, personally. Mm-hmm. But that's just a me thing.
Yeah, and personally, I do love that stuff. That's why I like Under the Skin and stuff like that. So, I guess it just depends on where you view it from. And I can understand if people don't love this film. That's perfectly fine. But I will say one of my favorite things about it is it asks all these hard questions and it gives no easy answers to any of them. None. And that was something I really, really loved about the film. I loved how it analyzed mental health and just everything. And it honestly pissed me off at times, because a lot of these things do happen in the real world.
Right.
Anything you want to add, Jake? Because I know I've rambled on for eternity.
Actually, I have about 40 minutes I can spare right now to talk, but no, I'm kidding. I'm done.
Okay. Nothing else you want to add to that?
I
don't know what else we have to talk about. I'm sure we have something.
How about TV shows?
Dude, we've been going for 2 hours.
That's fine. Top 3 TV shows.
Hell with it.
Keep the show a-rolling.
I'll split this up into 4 different episodes.
You can do that. Who wants to go into the top 3 TV shows?
Me.
Okay, you go. What's your top 3 shows?
Were you really about to volunteer yourself? You've been talking for 40 freaking minutes.
You go ahead, Jake.
Game of Thrones, Invader Zim, Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Good shows.
You've never watched one of them, maybe 2 of them.
I've watched Courage the Cowardly Dog and Game of Thrones.
Invader Zim?
No, I've never watched it.
Exactly.
I know 2 of them.
Yeah, you say good shows. I mean, Christ.
Yeah.
I enjoy all 3 of those shows. Well, I enjoy the first
6 seasons of Game of Thrones.
3?
7 actually for me.
4 seasons of Game of Thrones?
I like 4 seasons of it. Yeah. That's horrible, I think.
Season 5 is where it slipped for me.
Yep.
I hated season 1.
I didn't really like it afterwards either for me. What's your top 3 shows, Brian?
Number 1 without a doubt is Avatar: The Last Airbender. That is probably my favorite show of all time, and it is a cartoon show, and I have no shame in that.
Okay.
Number 2 is actually season 1 of Daredevil.
No.
That is probably my... I will die on the hill of saying that it is some of the best television ever made to me. That first season to me. And then Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is a Japanese anime.
I've only watched one of them. That's Daredevil. But
I do think you would like Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood because you would actually
He would
appreciate
not.
you would appreciate the style of it.
He
It
would
is
not.
it is a stylized show.
He would not like it.
I don't know if I'd like it or not, but
No. I would be immensely surprised if you would like that show.
okay. Well,
It's a good show. I mean, it's one of my favorites, but it's not your style, I don't think.
my top 3 would be Breaking Bad number 1, True Detective season 1 number 2, and all of Daredevil number 3. Just love all 3 of them shows. I think they're incredible.
Yep.
Sweet.
Adore them.
They're good.
Y'all like Firewatch? Yeah, y'all play any video games?
Do I play video games?
Do you play video games, Jay?
Do I play video? I don't know. Do
Do you know what a video game is?
No, actually, I play exclusively
I play Firewatch.
with a Tamagotchi.
I don't know what that is.
How do you not know what a Tamagotchi is?
I don't know what it is.
Oh my god, here's
Bro,
where this PC
like-
gamer asshole comes in. How do you not know what Tamagotchi is?
No, a Tamagotchi is...
Tamagotchi! Oh, God!
This is a PC elitist!
Oh, great!
It's a virtual pet!
Yes, Charles, with
The original Webkins!
Well, him saying that, I know how I sound whenever I talk about movies now. I don't know what in the world you're talking about. I'm sure this is some kind of like indie game where they like...
No, it's not an indie game! It's a casual white girl game!
I doubt it. It sounds like...
It's a Tamagotchi!
I don't know what that...
I don't know what it is
It's-
either. I've never heard of this.
Okay.
It sounds like a food.
Okay,
Or
dude.
it sounds like a restaurant.
Do you know like the games that you got on like the keychains? You hook up to your keychain, you pull it out, and you can play. It's a little freaking handheld, stupid little game that's like 2 cents. Piece of plastic shit.
Why would
that
we
comes
know
from
about
China.
that?
Yeah, why would I know about
I
that?
haven't had a
No, that's a general.
Or do you know what the Tamagotchi is?
Will you please stop?
Stop out of the Tamagotchi!
I'll kill both of you!
Tamagotchi!
Ah!
Okay, Firewatch!
No, the Tamagotchi.
No,
You don't get it.
I don't know what the Tamagotchi!
It's a Tamagotchi.
You scream.
It is a virtual pet. They have to feed and water.
Why not just have a real pet then?
You could, but this was virtual back in the early 2000s. That was cool.
What's the point of having that?
To pretend you have a pet because your parents didn't want to pay for one because they don't love you.
So they buy you a Tamagotchi.
Yes, they're $5. You get them from Walmart, and people be like, "I got a pet."
But you don't have a pet, you have a Tamagotchi.
Exactly, it's a virtual pet.
A Tamagotchi.
Exactly.
Can we please talk about Firewatch?
Yes, please. I don't know what this indie whatever
I'll show you a picture.
Tamagotchi,
I don't think we can.
I actually don't care about the Tamagotchi.
Yeah, seriously, words cannot express how much how little we care about this.
Okay, that is cool, Jake. The Tamagotchi, that is amazing. It looks like a shitty Game Boy.
It is. It was awful. I don't know why it got popular, but it was very popular.
The Goshi Tamagotchi.
Why are you so hyper?
Why are you so
trying to
hyper about
explain
the-
this to
Because
us?
you won't let me finish a damn sentence.
We don't understand the importance of the Tamagotchi.
That is true. It is important in internet history.
We don't understand the deeper meaning of the Tamagotchi.
Also true. All right, next.
Firewatch.
It's a good game.
Good
Yeah.
game.
Fun story.
I enjoyed it.
Sad. I wanted to kill myself afterwards.
Okay. Well,
Enjoyable game of trying to escape.
I have
about
severe
trying
depression.
to escape a harsh situation, not wanting to face the hardships of your reality, and trying to escape it into something else.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Not as fun as escaping with Tamagotchi.
I think I am noticing already that you love that kind of stuff.
I do.
You love those kind of themes.
I do. I find them very interesting. There's another game that does it really well. The Edith Finch game.
Oh,
That was incredible.
I love that game.
Yeah.
What Remains of Edith Finch.
Yeah, that one's incredible. But with Firewatch, yeah, I adore it. I think it's just flat out phenomenal.
I've beaten Edith Finch, I think, 4 times now.
Really?
Yeah, I can't get enough of it, man. Every time I go through, I find another secret.
Really?
Yeah, for real.
Edith Finch was good.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal, I thought.
Stanley Parable.
Stanley
Pretty
Parable.
awesome.
Oh my goodness, we need to play the new update.
Standard.
We need to play the new update.
Standard.
The
Beginner's Guide was heartbreaking.
Don't get me started. I'll end up.
What are you gonna say?
I've actually been playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines recently. That game is very, very good too.
Brian, we're talking about good games.
I've never played it, so I don't know.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
And Brian cannot say I didn't give it a fair chance because I went back to it 4 different times trying to like it, and I never could get into it. So you can never say I didn't give it a fair chance because I tried my best.
But yeah, I adore Firewatch. I think the team that made it, Campo Santo, they were working on a new game in the Valley of the Gods that was supposed to come out last year. I don't know what the hell's happened with that.
1 minute.
Because the trailer for it actually showed releasing it in 2019. Not here yet.
I'm looking it up.
Yep. So I don't know what's happening with that project. Yeah, I'd like to play that one. The trailer was freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's still.
Is this like another Mountain Blade Bannerlord thing? Or
It says it's on Steam.
Huh?
No, wait, never mind.
I'm about to say no.
It is on Steam, but it's not released.
Yeah.
They've actually
to be announced.
Yeah, they've taken away the release date completely at this point.
Yep. For me, I don't think
Probably
that
went to
game's ever coming out.
production hell, maybe?
Well, they went bankrupt.
Oh, wow.
Campo Santo did, and then they got
game
bought
has
by
officially
Valve.
been canceled.
God.
Valve and Campo Santo confirm In the Valley of the Gods is on hold as developers work on Half-Life Alyx, Dota Underlords, and other projects.
So it hasn't been canceled, it's just on hold.
Valve is not outright saying canceled, but this game has been
canceled then.
But this game has been in development for years now and can't think of a single instance of a game being put on hold only to actually come out.
Yeah.
Valve won't even officially cancel Half-Life 3, so this game is dead.
Damn it.
Well, Half-Life Alyx looks pretty cool, though, so...
I was dying to play in the Valley of the Gods, but guess we're not getting it. But
apparently, Campo Santo is owned by Valve.
Yeah, the Valve bought them. They wouldn't own by Valve whenever they made Firewatch. But after they went bankrupt,
that's kind of sad. I was actually looking forward to this.
Yep. But speaking of games, what's your all's top 3 games of all time?
My number one favorite is the one I just mentioned, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Mm-hmm.
That probably is my favorite. Number 2 would have to be Witcher 3, a game I could not ever tire of seeking praises for.
Yeah.
And number 3, I decided to go back to my childhood a little bit. Sly 2, I'd have to say. Sly Cooper 2. I love those games.
Mm-hmm.
And Sly 2 is probably my favorite of that series.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, I played Sly 2 as a kid, but I don't really remember much about it. But I do remember loving it. And the other 2 I've not played yet. I know The Witcher 3 you adore.
yes.
I've not played it, but I've heard it's phenomenal and great.
Vampire the Masquerades, I don't ever see you playing. Well, for one, it's it's only on PC, so
yeah,
that's
I will
the way
never
you-
play it then.
That's the only way
I'm
you
not
play
part
it.
of the PC master race, unlike Mr. Takabashi or Hashipashi or whatever. Yes. This jackass is going on about over here.
Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
What about you, Jake? What is your top?
Well, it
favorite?
depends. How are we looking at this? Are we ranking like as in our favorite ones we've ever played, or
Yeah.
like are we looking at like if you had an eternity to play video games and you had to play it for the rest of eternity, what would they be?
Just name the top 3.
Your top 3 favorite games.
You ass.
Top 10.
I don't know what you're asking.
I feel like I stated my question fairly clearly. But okay, fine.
What are your top 3 games?
My
the
number
ones
one.
That you would want
my
to...
number one. No, it wouldn't. Not always.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because if you have an eternity, you're not going to want to play the exact same thing over and over. You're going to want something that's like, procedurally generated so that you have something new every time, like Minecraft or something.
What's your top 3 games of all time?
All right, my
Top
number 1
favorite
would be Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
Okay.
My number 2 would be Divinity Original Sin 2.
Okay.
And my number 3 would be Old School RuneScape.
Okay.
I don't know what that last one is.
It's an online video game.
Oh.
It's an MMO.
Is it one of them PC games?
Similar to Minecraft, I think. No, Warcraft. World of Warcraft.
Very similar to Minecraft. But no, it's not similar to either of those, really.
Well,
it's a good game.
It's that genre of game.
It's an MMO. I've played it since 2006 or 7. Mm-hmm. It's really good.
Yeah, my favorite game of all time is the Kabashi, Hashi Pashi, Rashi.
Tamagotchi!
All seriousness, my favorite game of all time.
I've never had a Tamagotchi.
Yeah, this is about to be some basic white boy stuff here.
Madden, FIFA, and NHL.
No, not that. My favorite game of all time is Silent Hill 2. My second favorite game of all time is Batman Arkham City. And my third favorite game of all time is Far Cry 3.
That's good.
I love all three of them games.
All 3 good games.
Yep. 2 of them are basic, but...
Basic white bitch.
Yep. I'm a basic white bitch. Yep. That's all I am. I don't own a Tukahashi, Pashi, Tashi.
I've never owned a Tamagotchi.
I've
never owned one, but
I would never remember what that's called.
I knew a few girls with them, though, and they were annoying as all piss.
But they gotta protect their Tamagotchi animals.
Well, your Tamagotchi could die hilariously enough.
Really?
Yeah, it was funny.
So
they come to school crying.
Was it like a virtual Sims almost?
Yes.
Did you ever play The Sims?
Yes, I played the hell out of it.
Yeah, I'd always get my family member. I'd get like all the family members killed in the house, and then get taken by social services. It was a disaster.
Yeah, I had a horse that was like taken from me by the pet control one time because I had a 12-year-old watching it at all times, and she never fed it.
Oh, well, that's always the best idea.
And my 12-year-old starved to death because she didn't know how to cook.
The PETA just showed up and took it all.
Yeah, PETA showed up, took the horse, and then Child Services never showed up for my child though. So
who cares about that?
You can tell that's more important.
Where the priorities are.
Yeah, where the priorities are in the horses.
I've run out of things to talk about.
I think we're about done here. Anything else you want to add there, Jake?
Give me a minute.
Well, we're out.
We're done.
See y'all. Have a good one. Have a happy New Year.
This went on forever.
It did.
Yeah, I just want to let every one of you know that